Why would I take off my broadcast from my piece? From my... Control thing. I guess it reset everything, so it took off my, That's kind of weird. Like, what? Why would I take off my, It's weird.
Men have not reproduced. Only 40% of men have reproduced historically. That's always been the way, where 80% of women have reproduced historically, or 80 to 90%, depends on who you look at. So it's odd now that 50% of women will not reproduce. And now, and you said, what will that mean for relationships moving forward? As women raise their standards, it just means we're sharing guys. Throughout most of history, men have not
They were just sharing guys, all that shit.
If a girl were to get herpes, for example, I don't suspect she would be so quick to defend promiscuity or defend having a high body count.
That has nothing to do with it, though.
If you're promiscuous, you're more likely to get an STD.
Okay, but just because a girl has herpes doesn't mean that she's going to tell all the girls in her life to be a nun and not partake in any sexual activity. It's unfortunate that she has herpes, but that in no way should dictate the way other women in her life live theirs.
I mean,
literally.
If someone got herpes,
it wouldn't matter if I fucked a bunch of guys if I got tested tomorrow and then I was clean, right?
If a girl...
It's so LeBron James walking the fuck out of something, some interview. He's like, thank you. He's like, fuck this shit. I love listening to all this stuff. There's a crisis going on with dating. Like, it's getting to the point where it's getting numbing. It's like, some girls are thinking that, just having massive sexual activity is okay without commitment. So it's like, no, it's not. That's actually what the problem is. When you don't have much commitment, and you're just, having sex with random people, so to speak, and it's going to harm you in the long run. Because then you want to have a family, and then you want to have, kids and that, and then all of a sudden you can't. I know women are on a timeline. Normally they try to reproduce as early as 20. Sometimes even earlier than that. And it gets to the point where you're trying to, fight against the way of life. And it's difficult. It is. I ain't gonna lie, but that shit's difficult. I think it's 300% defense. That's a ridiculous amount of defense. Oh, that's really good. Cool. Put that in night room mode. It'd be pretty good. Don't have any. But yeah, it gets a little serious when you constantly talk about these things and that you don't need to understand. That's why I like listen to all these like people that actually have intelligence, women or male. You know, they talk about the things they need to talk about and they understand it because they go through the situations over and over again in their head. And it's beautiful to have these conversations. And like sometimes it gets a little hard, you know, you be sitting there like, you know. I kinda do want to play some Diablo 3 actually. Start a wizard or something. Fuck around that shit for a little bit. Oh, maybe I'm going Chrono Cross. Fuck around with Chrono Cross. I do like Chrono Cross though. Damn!
I can't carry anymore.
Archers fucked me up. That works. But yeah, it's always difficult conversations to talk about nowadays because everyone's always trying to like go through like and hate and thinking that we're hating on, you know. No. I'm not looking at it from a man's perspective. If I talk about men, I could say, yeah, men fuck up too. When I talk about women, I say women fuck up just as much. But like what the person was saying on Pearl Talk, which is what I listened to a couple of things like I said, had Andrew Tate on there and that he was talking about men and women and that. He was actually giving out some valuable points in that. He was, he's a horrible person that if a woman wants to work as say a sex worker and that's up to them. For a business transactions, you have to do certain things. Cool beans. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do exactly how he did that, you know. But like, he's kind of a dumbass with that. But hey, you know what? He made a lot of money off that stuff. He gave actual legitimate, you know, things he had to do in that and blah blah blah. Nothing's gonna happen with them. They just don't like actual, truthfully masculine people. They don't want masculine men that sit there and say, "Hey, I don't know what to say. If you want to make money, you gotta do X, Y, and Z kind of thing." When it comes up to any job, woman or female, I'm trying to practice on my talking because I'll get a lot of trouble. I have to start deleting every stream that I do. I have to practice on it. I'm thinking like as I'm going in that because sometimes I'll talk about stuff that's a little too much and be, oh my god, you're so offended, and they shit themselves. That's cool. I got diapers on. That's fine. You got diapers on. You're good. It's okay. Life goes on. You can pull up your big boy pants, you'll be alright. Shit, dude. I'm an asshole. Love it. Anyway. An archer. No, that one group's around here somewhere. What's cool about offline, everything stays kind of the same. You'll have like the elites will stick in the same spot, see? Nice. You're gonna Vitaling now. I need more transfer now. Yeah, that shit's crazy though. I mean, that's why there's so many like issues nowadays, and it's because of online. Our technology's gotten a little too disruptive, and people are abusing the internet a lot. And so many girls and men in their younger days and that, you know, or they're just ones that just have a lot of money and that. Like, I wish I was working full time, man. That'd be nice. I wouldn't mind streaming on my days off, or streaming when I get home from work and that. That'd be kind of fun. I did that up at Hooters and that. Hooters, I like that job. It was fun, it was entertaining, it was fast paced. I got a little upset with some things.
I can't carry anymore.
Things got annoying. But just because I was trying to learn so much psychological stuff and that, and like,
I can't carry anymore.
sometimes it gets a little hard, you know. Gets a little annoying.
Overburdened. I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
Oh my god, anyway. 15? Jesus Christ, I think I was level 15 already.
Bristles with magic.
Holy shit. I thought I was a little lower than that, but I guess not.
Welcome, my rogues.
That's crazy.
Yes?
Yeah. I don't think we're all those people. Not right now.
Oh, then.
But you have to be looking into these situations and that, man. I'll tell you what. It's hard, like, I think what it comes down to that I've noticed so far, women that don't know how to talk to guys definitely don't know how to, like, treat a man or understand what a man actually likes. I think that's just all about, you know, I'll walk around with panties all day or walk around in my bra all day, all these tracks to me. You use the basics of attraction, and if that's all you use, that's why most women are in the predicament they're in right now, because it's just like, there's other things you can do. Very visible. And that's like the status quo kind of stuff and that, like.
I am overburdened.
Yeah, okay, we gotta change that. That shit's annoying.
Decade, leave quickly.
Big bitch. It's getting really good for players 8. Like, just the amount of damage that he does right now is ridiculous. Like, getting his character up to, like, in the 40s now with skills and that, he'd be taking like 15,000 or something like that. But obviously he wouldn't be good against... I mean, he'd be okay against bosses and that. The physical is always the best for bosses, or using static. Static was amazing. I love static. That's what I was using on my PC. Before I went the frozen mode, because Nova got a little annoying.
I am overburdened.
I'm feeling it. Yeah.
I am overburdened.
I forgot I can give them these damn scepters. Scepters are astounding. That's so much good damn time. Tell that you look for some scepters, give me some more fire aura. That'd be sweet.
You have risked.
Cool. Sacrifice, fire resist, defiance, pleasant aim, holy fire. Cool. That's a rare. I'll sell for a pretty penny. Never mind, I won't sell for shit.
Yes.
Why you make things cost so much? I have no money. I might buy it. What's that for? Yeah. Because you won the mine one too, the holy fire. I'll take that. Two, the holy fire is great. That's all I need. All the rest of the skills don't even matter. It's just holy fire. Nah. Nice. Cool. Rad. Awesome. Get away, Tiger Guy! Ah! He's like, oh, come here, I need to talk to you. Stop walking so fast. He's like, God damn it, get away. Look at him, he's like, come here, you son of a bitch. He like walks like 5 steps. He's like, let me talk to you, you son of a bitch. Get back here. Where's my colostomy bag at? Ugh. Nah, I remember seeing some guy used to wear a colostomy bag and that when he would like go out. He'd be full of shit. So gross. Okay, now I'm gonna do more damage. Doing 200 something. That's ridiculous. Yeah, fire paladins are fucking astounding until like hell mode or a little bit into like Act 4. Act 4 is definitely, you gotta watch out for that because there's a lot of fire immunes. So you can't really do Act 4 too well. Yeah, you'll get your ass kicked in Act 4. You have to get the ice aura and switch it. But you'd have to level up a lot. Big Griswold's ass. Who's this? Number one. That shit's kicking in really good. think I'll play this for a little bit longer. Get my legs up. Sometimes it's good just to stand up. Stand up and move around a little bit, you know? Move side to side. It's always good to move side to side. Get those leg muscles going. Legs are good. You gotta use your legs. That's why I like walking. I can use my legs. I don't use it. My walking does use your legs, but not as much as you need to. That's why we do squats. I feel pretty good today. These pants are just really fucking tight. Gotta stretch out the pants. I got like these pajama pants on. Like my balls smash. Do squats. Little wider squats. Wider squats hit that ass a little more. Yee. Especially planking that. Woo, get a little pump. Yeah, I had to do that because I had to stretch out my hips and that. Another thing I gotta do. I think a lot of that's to do when you're younger and that. A lot of times people don't stretch in that. I always have really tightened hamstrings. But it's good to move around. Especially get older and that. Like I already know I'm not as youthful as I used to be, 10 years ago. There's sometimes I would walk, and I could be able to walk for hours and hours and hours and hours. I've done it before. That was a mindset. Oh, wow, I got that. But now it was a mindset. I would sit there pondering about something, and I literally would walk for hours. Like, I would sit outside, there's a little porch in the back, and I would sit out there, and I would walk, like, in like a line back and forth. I pace. I pace my, not pace, but, be like a patrol. I just kind of like, on Age of Empires, you put your people in patrol and so like walk back and forth, and if anyone attacks, they attack them kind of thing. So I had to like walk back and forth. And this is where I started thinking about something. I started this when I was like 16. I would ponder about stuff. I ponder about everything, like, what is life? What do I want to do in that? But it just came down to psychological. I enjoyed emotions. I enjoy, talking about, what is the realization of the world and that. And, like, it became something that I just enjoyed. Oh, wrong button. And used to listen to a lot of Ancient Aliens and that when I was younger. And Ancient Aliens still is, a lot of it is, a lot of good research and that where stuff comes from and that, but
tragic end to Tristram.
That feels so good to stretch out. Oh. Wow. Sin, madam. Sin, madam. I need to start watching some more Trigun. Man, I love Trigun. That's such a good anime. They rebooted in a cartoon animation fashion. I like the old animation where it's a little bit darker and I use so much bright colors, and I hate when there's too much bright colors. Making all kid-like and shit, it's annoying. Oh, let's go find out. Kind of want to go through Dragon Ball Z again. I don't know, that grinding was kind of annoying. I do like Chrono Cross a lot. Chrono Cross is such a good game. Do I want to go through the original Final Fantasy VII again? And do limit break mode and be a cheap bastard? That does sound really fun. I like games I can cheat in. Yeah, I always like games to cheat in. There's Madison. Madison's actually not that bad of a game. I really enjoy the game a lot. It's fucked up though. Is what happens? You try to play a lot of games today. You're trying to look for like what you want to play with, and that's like, and I think I get really bored pretty easily with some stuff. Like I'll be sitting there like, I'm bored. Like I'm just bored. Nah, it's like. I'm just bored. Okay. Get some more squats in. both actually do really good. Whew. Gotta shake my hips side to side, and I can feel it popping. But yeah, that's where it's at. I was kind of cool that Vincent sent that thing to me. I like that. Sent a little clip of what I was saying. Oh, yeah. Oh, listen.
You suffer from anxiety, feeling irritable or moody, forgetting little things, or feeling overwhelmed, isolated. Don't worry, we've all been there. You're probably stressed out.
I'm probably stressed out.
It's time that I consult the Choose Your Own Adventure Halloween chart. It's right next to my Choose Your Own Gutenberg chart. Let's see, Halloween is a classic. Do I want more of this? Most of these roads I've already taken, but I've never answered no before. I'll get to that some other time. I'm gonna be 40 in a couple of years. Might as well take the 40 years later route. The 2018 sequel, Halloween, which ignores all of the other movies past part 1, is not only a return of Michael Myers, although not the other return of Michael Myers, or that return of Michael Myers, but it is also the return of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. And no, not that return of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. She is still living in fear and paranoia because of the events in 1978, which is having an effect on her kid. So, not only is this a sequel, but it's also a remake of H2O. Oh boy, I've got high hopes for this one, H4O. Maybe I should have high hopes here. After all, it's the return of good reviews for a Halloween film. That means when we reference David Gordon Green, we have to mention the good movies that he did. If the movie turned out bad, we'd only be allowed to reference The Sitter and Your Highness. Especially seeing how Danny McBride co-wrote the script. Just like that time we all discovered Steve Martin's Nail Gun Massacre fanfiction. We're in safe hands here with producer Jason Blum. He could produce 5 Halloween sequels for the cost of 1 Halloween Resurrection. Though I am a little surprised that this is the first of the series to contain roughhousing. Michael has been institutionalized in Smith's Grove ever since he was shot off the balcony, and then found trying to buy Band-Aids at National. I haven't seen Dr. Sartain here use a series of 4-letter words to describe making love to an eye socket, so this must not be Rob Zombie's Smith's Grove. Michael is set to be interviewed by journalist Doctor Who and his latest companion. Dr. Sartain, meanwhile, was a student of Dr. Loomis and a successful clone of Ray Cherbagia. I'm assuming that Dr. Loomis chose him because his name sounds a little like Dr. Sam Hain. What? That's how Loomis pronounced it. But we gotta be careful when visiting this nut house.
Perhaps you'd like to tie in the shoelace? Mr. Tivoli here, the gentleman with the umbrella.
Look, he's gonna tie your laces around his balls and open the umbrella in his own ass. We can't stop him. Here's where they play checkers with the patients and dump chili on them when they're out. They love it here. These two must be from Let's Work with Mass Murderers magazine. And open the umbrella in his own ass. We can't stop.
Perhaps.
I love this guy so much. Listen to this shit.
Mr. Tivoli here, the gentleman with the umbrella.
Look, he's gonna tie your laces around his balls and open the umbrella in his own ass. We can't stop him. Here's where they play checkers with the patients.
Open the umbrella in his own ass.
They love it here. These two must be from Let's Screw with Mass Murderers magazine.
I love this.
Dang. Careful, you're causing the other patients to shit diarrhea out their dick and semen out the reader. Luckily, the movie got back the original shape.
Open the umbrella in his own ass. That's so be
It's
painful.
Robert Englund.
I love Cinema Snow.
I see nothing bad coming of this. The original opening credits were pretty iconic, but no one likes opening credits anymore, so let's do them really fast. Hey, if Michael can be resurrected a dozen times, soak in the damn pumpkin. Well, that was a great interview. We only got a half pound of feces thrown at us this time. I'm sure they're great at their job. No one has the heart to tell him he's talking into a taser. Oh, we'll get Michael to talk. Let's bribe him so he can buy us a Nick Castle autograph.
Yes. Hello. We're looking for Laurie Strode.
Oh, oops, I was way wrong. Laurie, thank God we've searched through 3 different timelines and we finally found you alive. Now they're interviewing Laurie, but it's really embarrassing when he accidentally brought his Sarah Connor notes. Whatever it is they write for sounds lame.
We like to re-examine incidents with an unbiased lens.
Boo! Tell us why Michael was secretly a Nazi. Oh, I get it. It's Exposition magazine.
2 failed marriages, rocky relationship with your daughter and granddaughter.
Wait a minute. This movie is my dream come true. If part 2 doesn't exist in this timeline, that means that not only is Ben Tramer still alive, but he was once married to Laurie. Granted, they don't actually say Ben Tramer by name, but it was totally him. The other husband was probably this guy, or Bud.
Sorry. I guess I just fuck up all the time.
Yeah, you effed up your marriage, bro. Ben Tramer was a way better husband to Laurie. They're asking some really invasive questions, especially about her daughter who was taken away. Plus, they antagonize her by holding up a model of the semi-truck from Road Games. And here's Laurie's daughter, Karen, and her husband, The Wiz. Gotta say, it is nice for this series to finally be treated with some respect after all these decades.
Oh, mother! Oh, man. I got peanut butter on my pig.
I mean, aside from that line, I'm sure they give Allison here great Halloween dance advice.
They're all nice guys until they get you pregnant, and then you gotta drive in their pickup trucks, and you clean their guns, and you...
Your prom date was a gun, wasn't it, Dad? Allison has great friends named Vicky and hipster Paul Bunyan. We also find out that since part 2 doesn't exist, Michael is not Laurie's sister, but he is second cousin to Bob. Maybe this guy would be 2018 Bob.
There's a lot worse stuff that's happening today, and I mean, what, a couple people getting killed by one guy with a knife is not that big of a deal.
I bet he lives. Get to school, the streets are unsafe. Never mind. No wonder Michael went insane. He's the most normal one in Haddonfield. Don't get me started on creepy nice guy Oscar, the Siamese twin of Fuggy. Just get to class. They're studying callbacks.
He said fate took a different course.
40 years later, and they're still teaching the same lesson. Holy shit, Laurie is Michael Myers. Somewhere Nancy is haunting the dreams of someone in a 2018 Springwood high class. Someone's looking for a detention.
All this hiding, all this preparation, it was for nothing. It took priority over your family. It cost you your family.
Look, the other sequels don't exist. We've got 40 years worth of exposition to catch up on. Grandma has to get back to her toys.
This tower shall be filled with evil.
Ooh, she's playing with her son-in-law We hear a little bit of Loomis demanding Michael be terminated before he kills McCarthy and escapes with a water fountain. Or before the hospital transfers him. That seems like a good idea. If he escapes the bus, I'm sure the other patients can handle it. Meanwhile, at dinner, they confront Allison because her boyfriend looks like Joel Osteen bred by the Mickey Mouse Club. Focus, Dad.
We have a jalopy filled with bullet holes from the team, man. It was at law for like a month.
Did you talk to your grandmother?
Sorry, I decided to change the subject before Dad rubbed the complimentary jellies on his nipples. Speaking of money, man, Lori needs a good stiff drink since Toby Huss is going to continue this dinner as Cotton Hill. Lori needs to pull it together. Judy Greer lost her other kids in Jurassic World and she's fine. No, don't leave. You haven't given us the chance to say, that went well. Karen's childhood doesn't seem so bad.
Learned how to shoot a gun when I was 8.
Now she's able to protect Allison from Oscar. Issue after learning all of this, H2O kid needs to stop freaking complaining. And what movie am I in now?
I enjoy it, but I'm missing dance lessons. And sometimes I'd rather do that than hunting.
Is dance lesson important to you?
The hell, I finished musical March in September last week. Are you telling me that there's another high school musical? Michael had to escape so he could find the real killer, a one-armed slasher movie villain. Yes, your dad is dead, but surely Michael isn't gonna kill a kid. Here, this movie showed that nothing is off limits. Clearly, this slasher film is too much for my delicate sensibilities, and that is the movie's fault and not my own. Go back to killing a dog like in the first one. This may not be in the universe of Halloween 2, but it is in the universe of the fourth kind. Gotta find some way to blame this on Abbott. I think I understand now. This is the alternate timeline where Biff traveled back in time to put locks on the Haddonfield Hospital doors. Now I am all caught up. Continue. Whoa. When are we gonna get to Thanksgiving? All right, the reporters. They asked the cemetery worker to please, for the love of God, finish the story about Charlie Bowles. No time for exposition about movies that do still exist. We gotta get to this rest stop bathroom, because if we're gonna remake anything from H2O, better this than this.
Tumultuous, round melon breasts.
Round melon.
Sherlock is having a great day. He got the interviews he needed, plus free gas, and he doesn't have to share credit on his article anymore. Plus, the paper's gonna have a very tasteful in memoriam about him. Now maybe the costume department will speed up its job.
Oh, man.
Boo! Where's the Halloween 4 Simon Le Bon mask? With Michael having escaped, Lori needs to prepare her family.
Gotcha. Jesus, you're dead. You scared me.
Plus, she gets a head start on April Fool's Day. I see no danger here.
Lori, this is my home and I can take care of my own family, all right? I know jujitsu.
The bus crash.
What?
See, Dad will protect them with his deadly comic relief. No one needs to be prepared for dangers in the world.
The world is not a dark and evil place. It is full of love and understanding, and I'm not letting your psychotic rant.
This needs Crazy Ralph to tell us future generations of doomed. I guess Officer Hawkins was there in the 1978 massacre. I'm too lazy to go through footage, because then I would miss the best scene in the movie. It's a series of long takes where Michael bashes people in the head for not watching either Night of the Living Dead or The Thing. This is a sequel which feels the most like Halloween since, well, Halloween. It's a welcome return to very ambitious filmmaking, though I question Michael's first order of business in taking out anyone wearing a Stranger Things costume. Looking at you, Oscar. This movie is too dangerous, though. It's going to inspire people who already like to creep between people's houses. Best go to the dance. The theme is It's the Great Pumpkin on Ecstasy, Charlie Brown. No matter what the timeline is, it does suck being a babysitter in this town.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I wish that you were here. It is so much fun. God, I wish I was there. I'm so fucking bummed.
Yeah, you better stay hidden. All this work time has something to do with you being in Project Almanac. Stay in and keep this kid from danger.
Are you talking about smoking weed? Don't lie to me. That's against the rules. I'm telling my mom.
Well, I'm going to tell your mom about your browser history.
You better not.
Oh, sorry. They're doing a bit. We'll be back in a moment.
Nothing makes a grown man cry more than tweezing a nose hair. That's torture. Manscaped's got something new for your manhole. Introducing the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer, featuring an improved.
Well done, my friend. Courage.
So it's waterproof for easy cleaning. And that ergonomic shape and that rubberized finish gives you all your manholes. Almost all of them. Unlike most nose trimmers, the Weed Whacker 2.0 is rechargeable via USB-C. And it's now bundled in standard with every Performance Package 4.0. All right, buddy. I think you've done enough whacking for today. Upgrade today to receive free gifts and free
What
shipping.
game do I want to play now? Yeah, I'm gonna get off Diablo 2. I gotta figure out what I want to play. I was supposed to prolong this game, but it cut out when I was fucking around with my computer net. Yay.
To commemorate our move to Windy City, pick up our limited edition Saul t-shirt and tell the world that you would rather just wear a shirt of Saul than go see Saul in the hospital. Bastards, don't you know Saul is dying?
Yeah, let's go chill here and chit chat.
Good, we're back to the party, which means drinks. Allison is very frustrated because no one gets her Malcolm McDowell "Oh Lucky Man" costume. Plus, her boyfriend is an idiot who's cheating on her at the party that both of them are at. Honey, I can explain. I thought I was making out with a real tiger. I can make this right.
Your fucking precious phone?
Great, given he's not in the movie anymore after this. This may be the biggest idiot to ever live in a slasher film. Luckily for Oscar, though, no one else is called dibs on Rule 34 Tuffy. Everyone makes look good by comparison, and he's dressed as Bubba from Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, because Vicky has a thing for banging the simple folk. They're gonna be the Bob and Linda of the movie. I was just They made Linda's totally dialogue look like totally Shakespeare. Unfortunately, there's a lurking around the house.
Shut up, James! I heard him breathing, and then I saw him. He's in here. Boogeyman's in this house.
Okay, alright. Come on, I got you. Let's check it out.
Sit Dave first.
Okay, well, I'll just wait for you two to finish your second bit. My balls are killing me over here. I don't know who's gonna get killed first. Vicky or Dave for breaking into Dan Connor's garage. Just kidding, it'll definitely be Vicky.
Oh, shit!
Oh shit is right, it's Michael's coming out party! This kid is the smartest one in the movie for getting the hell out of there. But between this and, oh shit, what tone do you want here? Not that that matters anyway. These silver shamrock masks are telling me that regardless of what's happening here, all of the kids are gonna die during the big giveaway at 9. And I distinctly remember not taking this route on the Choose Your Own Adventure. Oh, who needs Sheriff Will Patton when we can have Lori make the citizen's arrest? Great, we got a good Halloween movie, and yet we're still cursed with 7 years of bad sequels. Oh, and that guy died. I think Lori should be the real sheriff. She knows all of these characters' deals.
Like Michael's daughter, Miss Attain.
No bonus.
Okay, well, you want to get that literal and semi-meta? Sure, this action is getting pumped.
Did you know our friend Hawkins here was the first responding deputy when Michael was apprehended in 1978?
We're over halfway through and you're not done with the exposition yet? Oh, right, the trailer moment.
And I pray every night that he would escape.
Well, that was a dumb thing to pray for.
Yeah, it kinda was. Several more people are dead. You could've just prayed for him to stay in the hospital and not be transferred. Someone help Allison.
You're the coolest, you're the prettiest, and you're the nicest girls.
If anyone doesn't appreciate that, they're a crazy person.
Smooth as the face on Michael's dirty mask.
Perhaps, maybe you should finish monologuing. You are no Loomis.
Is he on a random path, or is he emotionally driven, triggered by something? Perhaps some unheard marching order imprinted on his very being.
So, minor in drama, did we, Doctor?
Yeah, Allison will be fine so long as she's got some bass.
Deserves better.
Sorry, Oscar. Cheating boyfriend who makes out with sexy tigers is more appealing.
Allison, I'm like really drunk right now. Seriously, I got really horny at the party and
I've met like a dozen people like that, and all of them make hanging out at this table way more tolerable and less creepy. So long, realistic ducky. So much for crying himself to sleep while watching Last American Virgin. Again, she's gonna be fine. Michael is not interested in laying a kiss on her. See, these people will be singing regardless of Dad not realizing that this is not the time for his Satan and a pirate walk into a bar joke. While it's true most of these are paintball guns, the glow-in-the-dark paint will make it much easier to see Michael, or they could just spot him anyway.
Look, it's him! Here we go.
Oh, that's Ben Traver's grandson. You're about to make the same mistake again. A few of the younger generations of Tramers are safe. Dr. Sartain is evil? I did not see that coming. He appears to have some kind of crazy obsession with Michael, like a deadlier Dr. Loomis. I can't wait to see where they go with this. Oh, well, guess they didn't make it very far down that road. That was as necessary of a detour as kinda start over. Don't even get me started on the small talk. I'm not sure.
Thanks for the sub, I just subbed.
5 minutes.
Now, a banh
I
mi
appreciate it.
banh mi is essentially just the Vietnamese version of a French baguette. And the term actually refers to the...
Thanks, deputies Jules and Vincent. Although Officer Richards is played by an actual homicide and human trafficking detective. Sure, anyone can shoot mannequins and joke about peanut butter on your dick, but this dude's a hero. Well, that's just great. Officer Charlie Benton lives, but this dick is alive. This is all an elaborate setup to prove to Karen that her husband was too dumb to marry. Now, this 40 years of training will pay off. Damn it. Probably should have seen that coming.
Sauce gave me his bud. Cool beans.
I've seen him grow 2 eyes back. Finger will be nothing. It took an extra 20 years to realize that defeating Michael in a booby-trapped house would be much easier than fighting him at a boarding school, regardless of Batman being there. I don't really know if you needed 40 years of training. You probably could have just dropped it dead on him or something.
Yeah, I'm just chilling out right now. I'm so bored playing this game. So chill out, watch some other YouTubers, I guess, just chill out.
The good news is that Michael is nowhere nearby. The bad news is that you're in Leatherface's backyard.
Oh, someone put that like thing on.
$69 US Special Forces device turns men into beasts. This Marine Corps officer is bringing military technology to the public by inventing a device that emulates 54,000 crunches in 20 minutes.
So I respect that you can then tell her, I want you to do this thing, and she has to listen.
Right, but
a lot of women, they want autonomy over themselves. Personally, I don't want a man that's going to provide for me just so he can tell me to sit down and I'm an adult and I'm going to sit down.
Let's understand
because
something.
I can make my own decisions too.
Let's understand something. Every man will give you life. It's just a matter of whether you're happy with
Not
the life
every
that
man
man
can afford it though.
No, exactly.
Every man will give you a life. It's just a matter of whether you're happy with the life that man is capable of giving. And this goes back into the earlier points we were saying. You could find a good man who will work his ass off, who will give you the best life he could possibly give you every ounce of strength inside of him, he'll give you all he has. You could get that. But if you're going to wake up and go, no, I don't want that life, I want that life. Well, then that comes with problems.
Yeah,
and this is the cognitive dissonance that most females operate under, where they sit and go, I want that life, but I want him to act like that guy. I want the Nissan and the McLaren. You can't.
I love it.
What about
and there becomes a degree of female maturity. As you said earlier, you get to a point where you're like, you know what? Maybe all that glitz and glam and bullshit isn't worth it.
It's not worth it.
As you grow up, right? And that's fantastic. And you make a different decision. And I'm saying that a lot of women get to that point. The problem is, in the modern world, the shit women did before they got to that point, from 19 to 24, pisses the man off to the point where he's never going to be as good as he could be. It's different in your world, right? You met a man, you stayed with a man. I know plenty of people, first man, high school sweethearts. The world was different only 40, 50 years ago. The second man, they've been married forever, 50-year marriages. All that shit's gone. And then we have to tie back into all the other sub-points I've made. Into you've had a very fun life at your peak sexual value from 19 to 24, running around doing X, Y, Z. Now you're with this guy who can't give you the life he knows you've already lived. Part of him feels inferior. His status is damaged because all the shit you did is on Instagram, and he ain't the one who gave it to you. And now you're expecting a whole bunch of crap out of him. And now, when he comes and works his ass off and manages to save up and buy a BMW and picks you up, hey, I got a BMW, you go, yeah, I like Mercedes. And this is the point. It's all about the fucking car. It's about something larger than that. It's about making him feel like he's a man again and like he's in charge.
Women should have to make a man feel like a man.
You're sitting here going, I'm an autonomous female. I can fucking like that. But what are you doing? You're damaging the psyche of the man who's trying to love you. Is it worth it?
But what do you mean by loving? Can we break it down? Can we break it down? Does loving mean that you listen to what I have to say and also think about what I want and not just what you want? Is that what loving means? If that's it, I can subscribe to that. But I'm not going to subscribe to you. Sit down and you have to sit down. What? I'm a grown-ass woman. I pay my own bills and you're going to tell me what to do?
That's fine. But it gets to a point.
I pay my own bills.
Analyze the scenario you're in and try and realize and pick your battles. And I'm telling you, you may not.
This girl's going crazy. It's called Pearl Talk. It's hilarious. Andrew Tate's on there, and a lot of stuff he says. He goes from a man's perspective. And what he's saying is that this shit's fucking hilarious. The other girls complain about, like, well, if a guy, like, if I date a man, I marry a man, you know, that man should not control me. But the thing is, when you're overly expressing yourself to other men, that's basically what they talk about. When you're on Instagram, express yourself to all these men, that makes that man that you're with inferior because in his mind, once again, not holding yourself accountable for the actions that you make, so you just complain about it. That's basically what that young lady's doing. And it's just like, that's how, you're not looking for how men think. Like real men, they're not fucking millionaires. Dude, we get hurt a lot. That's why we don't date. That's why I choose not to date. Because in my mind, if I see a girl that has like 1,000 billion pictures on Facebook showing off everything and everything towards every other man that's going to sit there and smack their meat off to it and that, why would I want to be with her? Exactly the point. I would not want to be with a girl like that. I mean, like, some pictures I get, you know, with your girlfriends and that, you got bikini pictures and that or whatever it is, cool. That's fine. But you're not doing it. You're not doing it because you're with your friends. You're doing it because you know you're going to get likes. You know you're going to get people coming on there. And they do that. I used to take pictures of myself that I used to look through my pictures and see if I got any comments on it. Sometimes I get comments on it. It's like, oh, it's cool. But, like, from a woman's perspective, a man's perspective, it's two different things because, you know, men are held massively accountable for everything that they do. And women, not as much because our society's bent that way. And it gets a little confusing sometimes because when you actually see a real man or an actual woman that's sitting there and holds herself accountable. They're beautiful, gorgeous women. They're fun to talk to. They're very easy to talk to. Now, you know you can trust them. You know that they might have some issues, which most people have some issues. And a lot of times they're just, family issues or friends issues or ex-boyfriends or whatever it is. It becomes good, But that high-ass standard of the internet, I see girls on there that I know from school, I used to go to school with me, 3,000 friends on their Facebook. Almost all that I know have thousands of friends. 1% of them are actual friends. 30 of them. All the rest of them are just people that just like your pictures. Go put one picture of themselves looking fine as hell and always make enormous amount of progress on any type of social media site. Because men like the choreograph, body, sexual stuff with a women's body, and that a little bit more than women do with men. Because, like I said before, I said this in all my streams when I talk about this stuff. It's harder for a man to look really good than it is with a woman. And people say, well, guys have more muscle, so this should be the burn off more fat kind of thing. And that, well, the truth is, guys do. But the thing is, our food is so easy to eat, and guys tend to eat a lot more in general because they have more mass. They have to eat more. Like Andrew Tate's not even that big of a dude. He's not really that big of a dude. He's toned. He's got a lot of chest muscle, but he's not that big of a dude. Literally, my arms are bigger than his. So, that's what I'm saying. Is it's like, he's a lot skinnier, but that's what it is. It takes a lot of time to balance out. Women don't have to balance out muscle mass nearly as much. Guys like girls with a fat butt, they got a jiggly booty and that, they don't have to have a lot of ass on them. Guys, the image of what girls might think of a guy looks like, depending on how their culture is, where they live at, or how they were taught when they're younger and that. They go through and they look at it from wow, I need to really look at the dude who's got to have, this and that. No, don't look at what the guy needs to have. Look at what he has already, and then work towards that. So say if a man's unhealthy, work towards being more healthier. So if a woman dates an unhealthy man, so to speak, he kind of eats like shit and he's not active with that. And you, as a woman, can produce that man to be more healthier. Do things with them that. So from my perspective, I say right now, for instance, say me streaming that, say if I had a girlfriend that, and say, she texted me and she came over and she knocked on my back door and that. Would I still be streaming and that, be sitting there talking and that? And in some senses, I might do it for a little bit. But in other senses, we might go on a night walk. Just sit there, walk around, be more active in that. But the reason why we do the night walk is not because I like to walk. It's more or less because that person's there and I enjoy the company of the person. Just sit and walk around the neighborhood and that. Maybe get some little coats on or something like that. Stay next to each other and that, hold hands or whatever. Have that bondage that most people don't have anymore. I used to do this all the time when I was younger and that. Be a little bit of a romantic person. I go on night walks that. That's why I started really developing my psychological research, and that, which wasn't research back then. It's more or less just, I ponder about it. And so I talked about the feelings, and I talked about that, and and the truth is, not a lot of girls care about that stuff. They don't. And the ones that do are because they're already mature. But see, you can't have kids with the ones that do because they're already in their 30s, 40s, and that. They've kind of already been through all the bullshit. And it gets to that point where inside your mind that you're just thinking oh my fucking god, this shit's about to get rough. When it comes out of certain things and that it's. That was when I was playing PlayStation 4. I like the PlayStation 4 setup a little bit more. Much. I'm feeling pretty good now. My shoulders kind of hurt a little bit. My right one does. Sure.
Greetings.
So I got here. 8 life. 16 life, not too bad. Yeah, I don't know what else I want to do. I think I'm just gonna sit here and chill. Can I make my camera bigger? I think it does make it bigger. I think it zooms out. It also has some more of this stuff.
Realize it. But a man does a whole bunch of shit for you that you don't know. He's watching the shows you want to watch. He's listening to you talk gossip about the girls at work. He's fucking going, yeah, I like that dress, that dress. He doesn't give a fuck about any of it. He's doing it for you.
See, that's
but the second it's back the other way, you have some fucking issue with
He's
autonomy.
right. He's right. Listen, yeah, he's right because women talk nonsense for a long time. And they say like, yeah, babe, you're right. Yeah, babe, can't believe she did that. It's true, babe. Oh yeah, that show is good. Yeah, babe. Yeah, it's true. You become a
I agree. Men do a lot, but women do a lot too. As much as if my man caters to me, I will do anything to make him happy. If he says, "Oh, babe, I like this meal," I will make sure I can cook it for him because guess what? He actually cares about what I want as well. You can't just have a one-way relationship.
Not one way. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If I was a woman and I had to make a man as attractive to me as possible, my goal would be to give that man status and make him feel good about himself. And I'd be very, very careful talking too much about life experiences or opposing views, not because he's out to oppress me, not because he's an evil, horrible person, but because he's trying to find somebody with a similar life view. He's trying to find somebody he can show the world to, trying to find somebody he can feel like he can teach things to. Mm-hmm. That's how you get the best out of a man. I'll tell you how you get the best out of a man.
That's why I got Clementine.
No, but if you go into a man's room when he's playing video games, and he's playing video games, and you say, all you do is play video games, and you nag him, he'll play video games. If you walk in there and go, you know what, you're so smart, I've seen you do so many amazing things, and you said so many amazing things, why do you waste your time playing video games? You could show me so much. Now you're going to get him off the fucking console. Yeah. Like, I know it's an ego play. I know your old girls are like, why should I have to do that? There's a lot of things.
Because he tells you you look pretty in the morning.
It's because you win. It's because in the end you win. You talk about why should I have to do that? Well, why should you have to work hard at the gym to get six-pack? Because you win. That's the game. It's actually, men are so simple. We are so simple, and the truth is,
we are simple.
This is what's amazing. Women pretend they're confused. You're not confused. You know. You're just egos are in the way, and society's telling you something else, and you just fucking refuse to be agreeable, nice people. And then you wonder why men have this fucking problem marrying.
Wait. So I have a question for the girls. So imagine you're dating a guy, okay, and it's your birthday, and for your birthday he gets you, let's say, a $500 gift, okay, and you're happy, right? It's thoughtful, it's specific to you. Then you found out last year he got his ex-girlfriend an entire birthday party. How does that make you feel? He did the most. He rented out the nicest hotel in London. He got her everything she wanted the year before.
Me not care.
You don't care at all?
I don't really care. As long as he's making me happy.
Okay,
We're different people too.
Yeah.
It's a different relationship, and maybe he bought her flowers every day, 365 days a year, and he didn't do that for me. It's like, well, if that's what makes her happy, he's gonna do what makes her happy.
Exactly.
I mean, I get the angle. What you're saying is like, oh, he did all that for her. Why am I not good enough? But the second you compare yourself, you lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I agree. But I'm just saying that's how men look at like your past is like basically like you've given it for free.
So here's my question to that, because all right, I love like everything we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Okay, so to all the viewers out there, including myself, right? You live life. There's gray area. You live and you fucking learn, right? So where the fuck do we go from here? So do I play the shame game where everybody walks away a fucking loser? Because I can do that. I beat myself up my entire life for every decision I've ever made, right? It got me nowhere. No. So I value myself. I see the world differently through a series of events, right?
That's cool.
So what the fuck comes next? Because that's where I'm confused, right? Because I'm not. It's like
No, you're good, bud.
If it's not like gifted to you, like even in your situation,
That sounds
like,
good.
Your dad providing you a life that like so many people would kill for, like.
I'm gonna turn these lights off out here.
Okay, yeah, because that thing clogged up.
What did?
Yeah, it was muted. Yeah, I don't work on Thursdays. I'm off Sunday. I think Sunday might be a good day for you because in the Sundays, no, most times people do shit on Sunday. So Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Until I get a new job. But most likely, I'll probably stay at this place if I can get a manager position. That'd be kind of nice. I don't know yet. Well, yeah, dude, it is what it is. I gained 2 subs since you left, I believe. That's been pretty nice in that. Yeah, if we get a couple hours, we should be able to beat the game. Like, the game's not that long. We're getting really cool, or really close. So as for Resident Evil pops and that, I hope you're on and watching me when it pops on midnight. Because I'm going to pre-order it tomorrow. And hopefully once it pops on midnight, it might be midnight, I don't know exactly what time it's going to be out. But we'll definitely have to look at it. Let's see, where's it going to be at? I have to go look at it. And I'm going to PlayStation Store really quick. I think I might just buy it right now because I'll know. What the fuck? No, it comes out on the 23rd. What? Really? What the fuck is that okay on the 24th? Because on the 23rd it comes out tomorrow. Oh, that shit, dude. Yeah, it comes out 3/23. Expect playable date 3/23 at 11 p.m. Okay, it's coming out on the 4th, but at 11 p.m. I can download it. I wonder if I can pre-download it. Probably won't let me pre-download it. Okay, so the hour before midnight, I can start downloading. It does. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Well, it's on the 23rd. It's 23rd p.m., so it's going to be 11 p.m. on the 23rd. Yeah, it's tomorrow. So it'll be an hour before, which will be perfect because I can be able to play through the game and try it out for a little bit. Because I could be able to stay up to like 2 in the morning and actually try it out, and then that actually be pretty cool. I enjoy that. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Check for notifications. It won't be online. Started a party 90 minutes ago. Fuck, dude. And, I keep forgetting to join parties with people because my notification's never on. Crush try to join my party. Or, why do you do that? You constantly have a party started and just have people. Just have people come in whenever the fuck they want to, I guess. Yeah, I give him want to talk to him now. He's got some stuff. He comes on and that, but like I always forget because I'm streaming that, so it doesn't pop up. Damn, Madden 23 just got 70% discount. Ah, it's $30 or it's $21 now. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, man. Yeah, man, definitely. I'll see you when I see you, bro. You have a good one. Oh, man. Damn. We got bored. Fuck.
It's unfortunate because
You know
there's
what,
gray.
You know what? I'm telling you what.
I just
There's
think,
gray in life.
Do you know what?
to answer, wait,
Go
I'm
on.
going to answer your
Go ahead,
question.
answer first.
I mean, I just think there's consequences for your decisions. And I just think, like, my best advice would be to, like, lower your standards. Like that. Because I just think there's going to be consequences for putting, you know, promiscuous stuff on the internet.
Okay.
And you probably
Thank you.
like the guy that you could have got at 22.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
What I like to be then? Do you know what I'll tell you?
See you when I see you, man. You have a good one, man.
I would say, because I'm 30 and I'm single out of a situation that actually is not because I was a hoe and I was doing whatever. People can't call me that. I made my decision to be with somebody that hurt me a lot and I stayed for 5 years. I came out super late. And do you know what I realized? What I learned is that I know now that I have to be selective and I have to think. If me taking longer to get to that stage is what it takes, then that's what it takes. You accept your future, you accept everything with gratitude, because as long as you're breathing, that's the most important thing. At least you've got your child. I am not afraid because I know the quality of woman that I am. I know my value regardless of whether I'm 30, 40, 50. Do you understand? So you don't be afraid by other people's time limits and limitations and all of
What's
that.
up, Parker?
Because it actually doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why.
No, but your value goes down as you get older.
That's according to you.
No, but I'm saying to men. And you have to understand
I'll tell you
your
why.
buyer.
I'll tell you why. Because since Mr. Andrew Tate explained something about status, I understand very well what that actually means. And as a woman, the quality and the value that I hold for myself is actually the kind of value and quality that a man will appreciate the status it will bring to him, whether or not I'm a virgin. Because I've worked on myself to be a woman of quality and substance. I respect myself and I handle myself as such, okay? And that is the way that you're going to actually overcome all of these bad mistakes that you've made, because who you are right now actually will make a difference if you stick to it and if you mean it and if you've always been that way. There's always another story for everybody. It doesn't matter. You'll fine.
You know,
this guy's somebody that's more emotionally mature.
You know, I would have said to you. What are you about to say, Andrew? Because you just started speaking. I want to say. I said, Andrew. I want to hear. I really because you've been through a lot in your life. When she told me that you were going to be on and we were going to be on this panel together, I started watching a bunch of your videos, and it really was like there's so much that you have been through, which is why you have a well of wisdom, right? And the difference between me and you is that you're glorified for it, and I am burned at the stake for everything that I've been through. And it's so funny because people have always said that we were two sides of the same coin as far as like, well, if you get banned, Brittany Renner should get banned because we are all about accountability and fucking truth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been through a lot, I've been through a lot. I'm seen as used goods. You're seen as a high value man.
Yeah.
So if you're me, then what? What's next?
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's interesting you make that observation, and you are correct. That's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. It's unfair, I guess. The world's not fair, but that's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. Men are respected for going through things and surviving, and women are the complete opposite. They're shamed for going through things and surviving. If you look at women love scars on men for a reason. He's gone through something.
They're war wounds.
Yeah, men don't want a chick covered in scars. I'll say this right now, that a woman, the more trauma she goes through, the more masculine she naturally becomes. And if you were to give me my ideal woman, I would not want her to have a hard life and a bunch of trauma. I like the idea of her having a soft feminine life and being a soft person, and I can take care of her and protect her. Whereas as a man, to be a good man, you need to have been through a bunch of trauma, because if you haven't been through trauma as a man, you're a weakling. You have to have been through a bunch of shit. So the masculine and the feminine is a very interesting point there. As for, I don't know your history, I don't know the past, but we can just talk in generalizations in regards
people
to
like me, I guess, under the same umbrella. It doesn't have to be personal.
I don't know any of it, but we'll give generalizations. One of the main reasons that men are scared of a female with history is because it makes the man insecure. And scared dogs bite. So this is why men will snap or get angry quick, or they'll bring up your history. If you get in an argument with them, they'll bring up your history, whatever. But a lot of it is insecurity, and it's not insecurity because the man is insecure. The female paradigm in society convinces men, any man who says anything, you're insecure. It's not insecure in that way. It's insecure in a very realistic, logical way. Like I was saying earlier, she's had a lot of life experience. Let's be honest. Am I the richest guy she's ever had? No. Am I the most famous guy she's ever had? No. Am I the best looking guy she's ever had? No. Like, what's keeping her here? And then part of it comes down to, well, am I second place? If she could do better, would she do better? Like, there's a whole bunch of insecurity involved. And that's where tiny things, like I know it sounds like dumb shit, tiny things about the favorite car brand become more important than ever, right? It's your job as a woman, regardless of how much sexual history you've had or what guy you're with, etc. It's your job as a woman to make your man feel secure in the fact, and make him feel like a man. Like Auntie was saying, make him feel like the man, no matter what he does, so that he feels like you really truly believe he's the best choice for you on the planet. That's your job to do. Now, if you've had a checkered past, that's perhaps more difficult. You need to be more tactful with it, more tactical about it. But you have to achieve the same result. You have to do the exact same thing, right? So, yeah, it's easy for me if I get a 21-year-old virgin from some village in Slovakia, and I'm multi-millionaire Andrew Tate. Of course, it's a very easy. She's never had better. She'll never get better. She's never been anywhere. Boom, boom, easy one, right? But like you said, the world's not so idealistic. The reality is that people have had relationships, etc., etc. But a man is happiest in the relationship when he feels like man in the house, and when he truly feels like you believe he's the best man that you could possibly ever get and have ever gotten. Because a man is jealous. I'll tell you something. I used to say this to girls as like a joke.
You suffer from anxiety, feeling irritable or moody, forgetting little things, or
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
That's why here at Umzu we've been
something.
Man, I have to go through a lot of trauma. I have to go through a lot of like being threatened or being beat up and that, all stuff and that, and like I feel like the trauma I went through and that all emotional trauma I went through and that, you know, it's a wound, you know, it's been patched up, it's been healed well, but it's still a wound, you know, it's still inside the mind that learns from it, so. This is what makes it really hard for some people to even grasp it, because it's just like, well, not everyone should go through the same things. That's when it comes down to the mother and father, you know, the one that has the kid, that if it's a baby mama or baby daddy and that they're not with the kid, you don't have to be married. Just be in a relationship. You can still be with someone. Marriage is not everything. But just being there for your child and that helps support, because they're a child. They don't know nothing. But if you're a child because you don't know nothing because you're a moron, then that's probably the reason why there's so much crap happening, because you are an idiot too. You're a moron yourself. I think that's the biggest thing that most guys and most people that have a psychological background talk about all the time, like myself. Now, I'm happy to have a mother and father, and I learned how to be, you know, soft-hearted when I need to be. I learned how to be rough-hearted. Now I'm just an asshole. So, you know, it all makes sense. Now I'm just an asshole. So, I mean, I took two, put them together, you become an asshole. You become a truth seeker, you look at the truth for what it is, and you fall down with it. If anyone goes against in that, you talk it out with them. That if it comes down to that, you know, say like if it's someone that's mutually that might like you in that, or someone that's like, you know, they don't want to get an argument with you in that, but their ego's at the window too, and they're like, oh, blah blah blah, fussy fussy. You know, like that happened with one of the lady managers at work in that. You know, had nothing to do with her in general. It wasn't anything private or anything like that, like personal. It was just with work. And you're gonna have that kind of arguments. You're gonna bang your heads up against each other and that, because that person is that lady is pretty masculine. She acts tough. She throws, you know, she play fights and stuff like that. She acts like a dude to a certain extent, you know. But she still has more feminine-like things that she likes to do more than masculine things. But she still has a masculine thing. It's not all feminine. And that's where, and it gets a little dangerous sometimes, because you're just sitting there like you're thinking about that. It's like, you know, when you show someone true strength, and see, guys don't do this though. When a girl play fights, now they kind of slam him, and that's it. You know, say like if I play fight with someone, that I'm play fighting too. You know, I'm a be gentle. Obviously, it's play fighting. It's not like you're just fucking, you know, beating someone's ass. You're throwing all your power into your fist and not trying to, you know, smash the dude's face in or whatever the fuck it might be. It's just play fight, you know. You have your open hand in that. You do little gestures in that, you know. You slap hands and that, stuff like that. You know, cool. But you have to show that you have authority. I mean, that's serious. Like, it's like, I played fight with a man before that was my age up at Hooters. We played fight, you know. It was just little slapping hands and that, and doing like little baby punches and stuff, and that we weren't trying to hurt each other. And like, he wanted to try me out. I'm like, oh, you know, are you a good fighter or not? And I warned him. I said, no, I've done martial arts a lot of my years of my life now. You know, I know combat when I see it. You know, I don't get into combat because I think being violent is stupid, but some people like that stuff. They like to be violent in that. And, like, in the back of my mind, I'm always consciously thinking about that sometimes when it comes down to when I see people in that. I instantly strategize, how am I going to fight this guy? This guy looks weaker than me. You know, does he have a knife? Does he have a gun? That, well, I mean, it doesn't even matter what the fuck it is. He could have anything, you know, a nail or something, or a fucking nail clipper. You know, it doesn't matter. How I'd be able to deal with the situation that. And a lot of times, it can be difficult. Most of the times it's not. Most times people don't give a shit. So most times if people carry any type of weapon at all, normally it's for their own personal safety, so normally they don't give a shit. But like, I know I'm going for like dating and all that stuff and that, but that's just how the world works, you know. We gotta be versatile with everything. So like, you know, one time me and that you know, manager lady, we were play fighting that. And I play fighting, you know, and she was trying to be funny that, you know. And it was very obviously, I would have to say, you know, she's probably attracted to me, whatever, you know, so that's cool, I guess. She's a good-looking woman in that, but, like, the personality is not what I really tend to want, so, like, it's getting, like, the attraction is not as much as it used to be. Key thing, personality in that. I don't give a shit how good-looking you are. I see a lot of good-looking women. I don't need to fucking have... There's no perfection-looking man or woman out there. Your personality is the key to all of the stuff. You gotta be healthy. You could be attractive. I mean, fuck, you go on Instagram, and there's probably like 1,000 girls on there that almost look identical. You know, they all look almost the same. Big boobs, huge butt, you know, long nails, whatever the fuck that it is. I mean, it's all the same shit. Same with men, that, like, most men, they're all on gear, they're all on steroids, and that almost all of them are on steroids. I won't put it past them. Big, gigantic muscles, and it's unrealistic fucking big, because normal guys don't look like that. It's like normal girls don't have big old push-up, you know, fucking silicone boobs and shit. They look real. So these are the people that, like, they want so much affection, attention, they'll do anything possible to get it. It doesn't matter how much drugs they use, it doesn't matter how much butt implants they get. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. They'll do it because that's how they think they get attention. In their mind, they assume that. And it's like, okay, you know. So guys sit there and lift weights and that, you know, they get bigger muscles and that, and then, you know, some guys can't even get bigger than fucking what they are now. You know, it's very difficult. You gotta, you know, maintain so much. And, like, it's difficult. It's cost effective too, because stuff can start costing quite a bit, you know. So you gotta eat 200 grams of protein every day. You gotta act like, okay, every ounce of protein could have up to like 7 grams of protein per ounce. So you gotta add that in. Okay, you just say, we'll say 5. We'll say 5 grams per ounce to make it a little bit more easier now. You gotta eat fucking 40 ounces a day of food, of protein, just protein. And say if you have protein powder, it makes it a little bit easier. You know, like you cut it in a certain amount. 2 bosses up front. Wow, what a dick. You like for women in that? I have to eat half that. Half. I have to eat 20 grams of protein, or 20 ounces. 20 ounces, maybe 25 ounces a day. Depending on how lean they are. That's like 4 chicken breasts. Depending on how thick they are. Because you always go by ounces. Chicken breast is normally more lean of meat. And it's not a lot, but it's still... It still takes time, it still takes money to be able to do it. And a matter of fact, how much pain a man has to go through with muscles to be able to build them. I mean, it's not easy building muscle. Like, it's, if you like pain and you like that pumping, that tearing of your muscle fibers, You know, there's sometimes I love that shit. When I get my shoulders going in that, my muscles are tearing in that really good. Man, that shit feels amazing. My dopamine levels go up. My heart rate goes up. It does feel really fucking damn good. See, my pain doesn't stay with me for too long because I really don't like working out. It's a massive pain. I do like 3 to 4 sets and I'm fucking done. I'll do drop sets now, let it burn and linger there for a little bit, and after that I'm done. But for some people, you know, like there was one girl, but here's Matt. She says, she's like, I like feeling the burn in my glutes when she does squats. That if she does like, you know, like if you do wide in squats, it really hits your hamstrings and your glutes a little more. She'll sit there and she'll sit there and burn those fuckers out. And she's got like a big huge butt too. She's got a big old muscle butt. And she says, I love it. I love feeling the burn. She's skinny as hell now. She's very good looking now. She's very, very sexy. And that's what it is. Same thing with guys in that. Some people be like, yeah, it takes a lot. But some people love that shit. That's why you see some guys have gigantic fucking muscles and some guys don't. Some girls have big legs and gigantic butts and some girls don't. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. You have to have a lot of healthiness. You know, this woman will eat like, she's like, oh, throw 4 raw boneless breasts or 6 boneless breasts on the grill. So she'll estimate about 1.5 ounces each. She's like, no butter, just season it with salt and pepper. And she will. And she'll eat some fries and that'll be her whole entire meal for probably, no, she clocks herself. She'll do it half when she'll eat before she goes to work, and then she'll eat halfway done with work. And then she won't eat until she goes home. What's up? It takes a lot of control over all that stuff. It's difficult too. Man, I feel like I didn't eat enough fucking food today. I just ate my banana and some stuff, and then I gotta eat again. Probably a little bit. What's going on, friend? Resident Evil 4 is coming out 11 o'clock on Thursday, 11 p.m. on Thursday. So I already got it pre-ordered right now, so as soon as that bitch pops on, I'm downloading it. I'm gonna wait too. So it'll be 24 hours from now. I'm probably gonna be playing that stuff like all damn day. Or all morning. Sweet. Oh, excuse me. Oh man, we got big old. Man, my stomach's been all over the place today. Not hurting, just gurgling and that. Took some probiotics yesterday, pretty late. Or today, actually. Was it today or yesterday? No, it was yesterday.
This will help the sisters turn the tide against evil.
Sorry, bitch. I don't know what I want to do. I want to get back on killing floor. Fuck around with that for a little bit. I don't know yet.
This is no place for a warrior to die.
I used to say this to girls, it's like a joke. And I used
So
to
it's
say,
truth and
I used to say, no, but I said it's a joke. So you cheated on me before I met you. And she'd be like, what do you mean? I didn't even know you. It's like, yeah, you fucked that guy before I even knew you. You cheated on me. And they used to laugh, whatever, but that's how men think. That's the male mind. Like, I love you, and you've been fucked by who? But I didn't know you. I don't care if you knew me. You should have waited. What do you mean? But that's the male mind. So he is in competition with all of your exes and all of your lifestyle and all the things you've done permanently. And it's down to you as a woman to sit there and go, how do I make him secure in himself and secure in his masculinity and make him believe that investing in me is still worthwhile because I still truly value him, despite the fact that I could do X, Y, Z. I hope that gives some clarity, but that's the answer.
You know what I would have said? I would have said, oh, for anybody in that situation, come off social media and just raise your child. So the person who meets you's got nothing to... But I never knew you. I never knew who you were because I've never heard of you before. So when I spoke to you, but the way you're saying like what's on the internet, let me say, you're a nicer person than what you sound like what you perceive to be. Like you were saying, oh, that girl's got she's a whore, and I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about you. And I was saying that if you didn't have nothing on social media about your checkered past, and you met somebody, the same way how I met you and I conversed and I got to know you, is the same way that they would.
Yeah, and it is interesting, and it's also back to the masculine and feminine, right? Because I'm all over the internet, and supposedly I'm misogynist and I'm evil and all this crap. I mean, if a girl, even if she disagrees with me, in fact, I'll say this, I've never ever met a single female who's ever fucking disagreed with me. Every woman comes up to me and loves what I say. But let's imagine I met this imaginary girl, she was sitting. And if I were to have a 10-minute conversation with her, by the time I explained the level to which they tried to destroy me, how they tried to freeze all my bank accounts, raise illegal charges against me, put me in jail for things I didn't do, put a travel ban, take my passport, all this garbage. By the time I explain how hard they tried to hurt me and failed, she'll want me. Because she'll be like, you can't kill this guy. And that's what it is. Like, you say a bunch of shit I don't like, but you know what, you're bad. So it is about experience, and it is different. And that's a really good point about social media. Social media amplifies all of this shit. It amplifies all these problems. Everything we're discussing, everything we've discussed back to the beginning, from status to promiscuity to your path.
This is 2 months ago. This is what Andrew Tate was talking about, all the charges and that. It was all bullshit. And social media still talks about it. This is 2 months ago. They're bringing this stuff up still on the media and that, like, oh, he's such a bad person and stuff and that. But what he's saying, this is an actual podcast. Everybody's a woman besides him, and he's just speaking how a man feels. And that's what the problem is. They don't want you to know how a man feels. Like, well, why not? The world is not successful without two. We got our genders for a reason. And people fawn upon because, you know, you got trans. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. Like, there was one I was talking about that. Like, one guy was sitting there, it's like, if someone screwed a transgender man that was becoming a woman, supposedly, these are just talking points. Don't want to get everybody fucking jumping on my ass because, you know, I don't give a shit anyway, but, and like, this person sits there and he was saying, that'd be like doing a guy, right? You know, because they're transgender, they're in between both genders, but they're still a biological male, so that'd make me gay, right? And the woman was yelling and screaming that, on contrary, yes. If the person's not a biological woman in sense, and they're going into being a woman, you're never going to be a full-fledged woman. Biologically, you can't. If you're already a male and that the male's hormones don't work with female hormones when they're over-ejected. I talk to people that sit there and bodybuild and that. You know what they say is when women go on steroids or go on testosterone, that they get all hairy as fuck. They become like men. But the problem is it's massively unhealthy. It's massively unhealthy. And they'll say it. So, on the contrary, no, you'll never be a full-fledged woman if you are a man. That's just biologics. I mean, at younger, before puberty, yeah. But that's still not anyone's choice but the parents, even though it's the kid's choice. You know, the kid has to be the one, that's their life. Parents don't choose the life of a child. The child chooses the life of itself. Parents guide the child into being the best they can be in the society that they live in. That's where people get it mostly wrong. The choice has never been the parent. It's the choice of the parent to have a kid, not to control the kid. We all have our own separate souls and personalities, and our traits might be similar because, you know, of genetics and that, but does not mean it's the same. So whatever you think that you did when you were younger and that, your kids are not going to do the same thing. They might do similar, yes, they'll probably do similar things, but that's just how it works. So yeah, when it comes down to that, and the guy had a good point in that, and the girl was getting all upset about that. He was asking a simple question, would that make me gay if she wasn't a biological woman? If she was, you know, if that person was a biological man, would that person, you know, it would consider me gay because they're not a woman. They're not a full-fledged woman, which they're not in senses. You can act like it, you can dress like it, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But when it comes down to it, don't do it because you want to get a straight man. I had this conversation with gay guys before. Some gay guys would sit there and they'd be like, oh, you know, if I was a woman and that, I'd be having all the guys on me and all that stuff and that. But see, you're a man, though. And being gay is a low percentage. Most people are straight. Gotta repopulate. It's hard to repopulate with gay guys because gay guys can't repopulate with each other. But the sense of it is, not trying to be mean or anything, but the sense of it is that this is how it works in the reality that we live in. We've gone over the sensibilities of life. Over. We sit there and we think everyone should be the way they want to be, and what they want to be is completely farced. It's pushed upon us through the system. And this is the reason why so many people get confused, especially, you know, if they do get part of that system and that. Dang, my stomach's going crazy. They got on a fucking valve movement. Fucking ridiculous. Stop leaning on my damn forearms and that. I keep leaning on that fucking... on my elbow. But yeah, people get offended by that stuff. Why are you, as a woman in that, like, I would like to ask this question, as a woman in that, why are you defending someone that's trying to take your position? Like, that's the dumbest thing. You're trying to defend a woman that's literally trying to, or defend someone that wants to be a woman, taking your woman's spot. And you're sitting there defending them. It's just like what Tom McDonald say in the system and that. He said, you know, women are sitting there, you know, fighting against, you know, women's rights and all that stuff and that. And now that they got what they wanted, and now they got the trans girls and that, and now they're fighting for that stuff again. And, like, you're repeating the same thing over again. And, like, you know, let's not care about, you know, having kids now. Let's care about just being stupid and being illiterate and being uneducated or whatever the fuck that it is. Let's just keep on pushing society into this way, and then all of a sudden, no, you're sitting there And society's all messed up now. You're like, well, it wasn't me. No, it's 100% was all these people that are doing this stuff and that. You won't be part of a group because you feel like it's cool. It's like being in school. When you're in school and that, you want to feel like you're cool. You want to feel like everybody likes you and that, all this bullshit. But in the meanwhile, most people fucking actually don't care. And it's a lot of people probably don't like you. So inside your mind that you constantly thinking this stuff over and over and over and over and over again. And the truth be told, you know, people do like certain people now. I'm not going to disagree with it, no. There's nothing wrong. I had 2 levels. Fuck, I didn't know I even got up 2 levels. I did get up 2 levels. I didn't even recognize I got up too fast. What am I on 20? And that's where the point starts to click in and you start thinking about it. And that I got out of the situation because I knew it was dumb. And I've always been very illogical and talk about the old practice of people and that, the honor of knights and all that stuff, and that things actually do matter. Exactly what Andrew Tate was saying. People call him want him to do because that's what you bring him out to be. And it's easy to bring someone out and make up shit about that person than it is to actually tell the truth about them, because you have to use someone. Oh, I gotta take a dump. And that's always been the biggest thing. So every time we talk about any type of situational thing, and then all of a sudden, you know, all these people get offended, all these people get upset, and it's all purely emotion. They're not thinking, they're just emoting. Think. Use your brain. Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, like I said before, to all my streams for the most part, if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. If you can't make sense of it in a way that's just like, oh, I could see that happening, then it's probably bullshit. You guys are pretty freaky, ain't gonna lie. People want to scream and shout about things because they like that group that they're in. It makes them feel powerful. Even though what they're screaming and shouting about is absolutely pointless. And then people don't go anywhere, though. The people that join these groups and they're like screaming and shouting about all this stuff and that, whatever the fuck it is, it could be anything. You're not successful. You're not going through any type of succession chain at all. No matter how much money that you have in that. It's just like when people talk about, you know, the globe and that. And I say, well, there's no proof of it. And people say, well, there is because of NASA. I'm like, well, NASA's a fake reality that's been pushed money to make Star Trek. NASA was made in 1969. Star Trek was made in like 72. They did it on purpose to confuse the masses. All they said is, hey, Hollywood, we gotta confuse the masses. We don't need them to know about flat Earth. Well, what do we got? Well, NASA says there's outer space and that, so they brought up all this stuff together and that. This is how the meeting went. They brought all this stuff together and that. And then they talked about, okay, what we could do is, okay, we got all these actors and that. They look like they're pretty talented actors and that. They can do really well. So you get all these actors together and that, you know, you get Spock, you get all these people and that, you know. And all of a sudden, bam, Star Trek's made. And all of a sudden, everyone believes all this stuff, and through the voyages of space and all this stuff and that. Before space even really existed, no one didn't know anything about space. They went to the moon at 69, all this stuff and that. Or, no, it was the moon at 69, or whatever it was. NASA was born like 60-something. I can't remember exactly when it was born. It was right after the climate, not the climate accord, but the Atlantic Treaty, or the Arctic Treaty. Well, we couldn't go through 60th parallel, and then NASA was made right after that to cultivate bullshit. And so all of our reality in that is fake. You know, all of our movies and that, like, I say, like, simple things like Hercules and that, like, when I sit and watch, like, Buffy and that, Hercules. I love the 90s stuff and that. I always love that stuff. And, like, when it comes down to that, is it possible to, you know, for something like that to happen? There's a huge possibility of anything to happen. But when people constantly want to talk about space and all that stuff, I see all this stuff all the time on Microsoft, media and all that stuff, and that they're all talking about space this, space that, space this. The asteroids are going to hit us and that. All this stuff's going to kill us and that. And then all of a sudden you start looking at that and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, you say this every other year. 10 years from now, an asteroid's going to blow us up. And it's just like, that sends the brainwash side of me. This is what the brainwash side of me wants to kind of believe it a little bit. It's like, if it does happen, it happens. It's all about fear. That's why I don't even watch that stuff. I look at them just like, I'd rather laugh at it. Yeah, I'd rather just laugh at it. And be like, ah. South Park makes fun of everybody in that. And South Park made fun of all these people in that. And it's funny, that shit's hilarious. Now people get offended by it, and like, you can get offended by anything. I get offended by taking a dump, and someone will be like, that smells, I'm offended. Of course you're going to be offended because I took a shit. Duh. Shit's offensive, I guess. Talk about taking a dump. My God. Was it the old Dungeons and Dragons? The one with that one guy with the Wayne brother? What was his name? Malcolm Wayne. That's better than the new Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. I've never seen it, but the old one was pretty good though. Okay, I'll be right back. Grab my thing to do though.
question too, because I have had people say that as a solution, and it's like, you can run, but you cannot hide from the truth. And I have shared that why my voice has been so impactful and will continue to be impactful is because I have put myself out there and I have been punished for being honest. So it's like, I have been given a platform and a voice for a reason. Even sitting down in this conversation thinking there's not one person I'm probably going to agree with and probably going to want to leave, I have been called here for a reason. So it's like, I can't go against what is in my heart and what I am coded to be. And that's why I feel like it's important for me to sit here and represent people who feel like me. Because it's like, I don't want to say I didn't choose. I don't even want to say that. I just feel like I don't see a lot of women under my umbrella who feel the way that I feel. I don't see opinions shared that would be worded the way that I feel. Nothing. I feel like a lot of my thoughts are very unique, and it's kind of scary because I have been through different things. I see the world in a different place, and when I even speak online, people think I'm fucking speaking Swahili.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I know exactly what you're saying, and you're making good points. And it's just, I think that regardless of whether, like, we're talking about different positions. I compare it to chess. I know it's annoying. We're looking at different positions on the chessboard, but the rules are still the same, right? No matter how bad your position is or how good your position is, you're still trying to achieve the same objectives. And you want the man to get high status, and you want the man to feel secure in himself. And I think it's very difficult. I can only talk from the male perspective because I am a man. It is very difficult. If I were to meet a woman who I liked very much, but she had X, whatever, past, whatever, my concerns would be, how do I know that I'm still the number one? How do I know I'm most important in her life, especially if I don't measure up in certain key metrics? And two, the second thing that's most scary for men is we understand that men are constantly after what we have. Like, your inboxes are all full. Like, they may not be with guys you want to reply to, but guys are still trying to get it. That's the male life. The male life is people are trying to take everything from me. And that's very scary. And you have to make your man really believe that that's impossible. If a man truly believes that nobody can take you from him, he's going to love you in a different way. You can give me two carbon copies of the same chick, but one I think might cheat in the right circumstances, and one I know no matter what would never leave me. The love I'll feel for this one is a different planet to the love I feel for this one. You know, the same person, right? Because that's every man's biggest fear, is a woman cheating or leaving. Because there's something visceral and something different about it. I know I talk things and I say men can do things and women can't and all this stuff. But like, if a woman cheats on a man, that hurts the man on a level that it doesn't hurt the woman if the man cheats on her. It's different. It's different biologically. It's different evolutionarily. Like, that's what men used to fight and die over. You talk to my chick. You look at my chick. Yeah, it's like you demasculinize him on every level. Like, and this is why you see these TikToks, right? You see these TikToks. Me and my man went on a break, got back together. He fucked 20 girls, and now he's crying because I went on a date. Yes! Because the damage level is different. It's just a different thing. So you have to understand the paradigms. You have to understand to play the game, and that's how you make men happy. And I know.
Holy fucking shit! What the fuck, dude?
I would know very well how to make a woman happy, and I.
Why you put these motherfuckers right in front of my door, dude? Or the door? God damn, dude. Fucking guys.
Giving away this necklace meant helping guys get attention from girls. Obviously, this isn't going to get you a girlfriend, but I've been wearing mine for a few weeks now, and I can say that it is 100% a conversation starter. It's all thanks to two things: the raised 3D golden eagle and its dog tag shape. Together, they combine to create a bold and unique look that's going to make you stand out from all those other guys out there with their crosses and simple look.
Shut the fuck up. I hate that shit.
It's a conscious decision, and that's where you get.
Yeah, Andrew Tate's pretty fucking right about this shit. You know, I mean, a lot of stuff is pretty, you know, upfront. I think what it is and why he does the thing he does, dude, because, you know, he's bringing back how men used to be. Men used to fight and get strong as fuck over their trauma and that and become something. You know, women are like princesses. You want to act like a princess? Act like a princess and be feminine as hell. You know, ow, my nail broke kind of thing. That's cool. bitch. So I see from, you know, a man's perspective on that, like the more I see a feminine girl and that's sitting there and all, like, you know, that, I mean, for me it's different though. I understand things. Like, I would say between all the girls that I talk to as of right now, the lady manager, I like her because she has a really nice body in that. Her personality is shite. I don't know nothing about her. I don't think me and her ever agree with anything. But, like, one of the other girls I talk to, she's one of the overnight girl waitresses. She's super cool. We get along very well in that. I am attracted to her in that, like, body and all that stuff in that. You know, but there's certain things about her that, you know, my ideal body, I always like the short, skinny girls. And I'm not saying anything, you know, bad about her body, no. But she has some things that are worth more than just saying, you know, oh, look at you, you're so fucking sexy. She has, you know, she is sexy. I pointed that out multiple times with certain, you know, that she's got, like, certain luxuries that she's got more than other women. That's what it is. It's always competitive competition. You know, it's like, when you look at, like, your boyfriend and that, and it's like your boyfriend's having a rocky start with a relationship and that, you know, so you're like, okay, this is getting kind of weird and that, or he's starting to be just trusting, he's starting to trust you, starting to not get along with you and that, and then all of a sudden you're, like, sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, like, well, what am I supposed to do? I stick with this guy as long as I can, but for some reason, you know, he's having issues.
We traveled east, over the mountains.
And one of the things that made her talk about that, and, like, I guess it has to do with the man. The man's got trust issues, whatever that is, it doesn't matter. He's got issues in that, and it's getting uncomfortable. But then I look at it from my standpoint, I put my vision to his head, I look through his eyes, and then I'll say, like, I can see where he's coming from, because, yeah, that's a little awkward. The person might be like, well, what do you mean? It's a little awkward that you're giving this person, you know, that you're doing all these things and then, like, he doesn't feel like he's a man. Goes back to what Andrew Tate was just saying. That's who I'm listening to. He's like, he doesn't feel like he's a man because he feels like that you're cheating on him and that, or that you're fucking around with other girls or guys or whatever that is. And, like, the way I look at it from my perspective from that, if I do see in that, has ever been about sexual. It's been about love and embracing. To sit there and see how life is going to be better with each other. So once you get a sense of that, it starts to grow on you. You start to look at it like, oh, it's about being better together. Two people's better than one. Tribalistic stuff has been out there for so many years and that, and, you know, for centuries and that, where people join together and that it's easier to survive with multiple people than it is by yourself. You could do it by yourself, but it potentially gets harder. And this is where the problems start to set in. And it's like, for my version of this, I know my shit's going all over the place, but I'd rather change it up because you're going to get boring talking about flat earth all damn day. It's always what you talk about with that. This is human emotions at its finest, and it's good to listen to complications of the life and try to bring things down into these scenarios and that so you can be able to function better as a person. Number one is just the simplest fact, the easiest things ever. Simple fact, very easy, love yourself. Why don't we love ourselves? Because we're trying to compare ourselves to people that we know we can't be. I love myself. I don't know who the fuck I compare myself to. I mean, like, body-wise, that, yeah, I want to get a better-looking body and that and all that stuff and that, but I already know most of the people that have really good-looking bodies are all on drugs. So like, okay, well, I don't want to take gear and a whole bunch of fucking other crap out that look good. I'd rather not. I'd rather just be my basic self. That's basically what it is. You know, I see guys at the gym and that, like, most guys barely look any different than I do. They might be skinnier than me, but that's about it. Like, they might be slightly more bulkier than me, maybe. A lot of times in that, nothing. Like, most times you don't see gigantic fucking dudes come in. If you do, a lot of times because they're training for that position of conquering something with their power and that. So they're going to be on a precision course of protein every 4 hours, and that'd be like fucking clockwork to get it done. And that's what it is. Sometimes you got naturally big people, and that they're grass-fed, what they say back in the old days. They're grass-fed people that you always eat, like grass-fed cow meat and that. They're specifically designed for all this stuff and that. Now you just got protein chicks. That kind of like brings things in perspective that you can get stronger a little bit faster and that, a little bit more muscle, not just taking 3 protein shakes a day. They're 25 grams each, just 75 grams of protein. That's like 30% of your day in protein. And that you don't have to choke down a fucking big old piece of fucking, chicken breast and dry as fuck and that. You can't have any fats on it and that. He's gonna be lean as fuck. The calories gotta be down. Yeah, you don't respond to protein that. Carbs are the enemy or whatever the fuck people would say. It's not true. That's bullshit. It's sugar. It's processed foods. Cereal, stuff like that. You can always do. I say, grab some damn Cheerios. Cheerios have nothing in them and that. They're like cardboard, basically. Grab some Cheerios. You can sprinkle some natural sugar on them. It'd be less calories. It'll taste even better because, it's not as much sugar. You'll have, sugar milk. And sugar's already in milk anyway, so... So far, so good. Or get some good oats. Actually, come with that. I got some oats. I'm probably gonna have to eat. I'm gonna go grab some oats really quick. There's some of that brown sugar on it. Because sugar itself, without a dicing sugar, they put so much sugar into stuff to make it taste good. But the honest truth is, sugar itself is not that much calories. Pure natural sugar is very low in calories. 1 tablespoon is 5 carbs and 5 sugar. It's not really that much. We'll go do this one.
Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfula, with a
Dr.
short
Wolfula.
sort of podcast.
Okay.
Joined by guests. Say hello. Goulash here. Are you going to call me a guest in all of these? Yes, I'm the host, and you're the guest. Well, I was a guest in the last podcast, too. Shouldn't I technically be a co-host or something? No, you can't be the co-host, Goulash. I can be a host on my own just fine. I'm not an idiot. Besides, it's not like you're going to be my guest in every one of these podcasts. I saw the scheduling sheet. It said I'm the guest in every one of these podcasts for the next 5 years. And then somebody named Tyrell takes over for me. Man, I can't wait until I get Tyrell in here as a guest. But for now... You're the guest, and I'm the host. It's not greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfuland. This is your other fucking host, Goulash. No, it's just me as the host, forever. With you also, but as a guest. Okay. Anyway, in this podcast, we're talking about the first episode of the Scream TV series. Can you remind me about what Scream is? Goulash, it's only the premiere horror film series. It was about a guy in a mask who called people on the phone and then he killed them. What makes it so special? Oh yeah. Jamie Kennedy was in the Scream movies and he had seen horror films. So, he saw that the killer's pattern matched that of popular slasher movies. Oh, okay. So the characters used what they knew about horror movies against the killer, right? No, the killer still murders a ton of people. The characters just know about horror movies and make some jokes about them. It was innovative stuff at the time. I see. So 4 Scream movies were made. If I remember correctly, the sequels are all the same. They just made different jokes depending on whatever number they were at. Good times were had by all. Now we have a Scream TV series made by the Music Television Network, known mostly for airing reality shows exploiting pregnant teenage girls. Great stuff. Goulash and I happened to see the very first episode of this Scream TV series. I didn't watch it. Goulash, I gave you that iTunes gift card for you to buy the season pass of the show. I don't have an iPhone. I have a Galaxy. Ah, god damn it. All right, let's just watch it and we'll come back to record this. Do we have to? Yes. All right, we're back, and we've both seen the show this time. We went to IHOP. Yeah, we also went to IHOP after watching the show. I wanted to see their new logo. It's a smiley face now instead of a frowny face. Yeah, it kind of scares me. It's just a sign. All right, whatever. Can we just talk about the show now? Of course. Let me just finish my leftover pancakes while you talk. Whatever. All right, Scream Episode 1's story was... Could you not fucking eat those while facing the microphone? All right, give me those pancakes. You'll get them after we're done recording this. Fair enough. Great. The Scream TV series starts the way every TV show should, with teenage girls making out. Sir, that's really inappropriate. What? I'm just saying that Seinfeld would have been greatly improved if it started with two teenage girls making out, and then cut to Jerry talking about the buttons on George's shirt. It would have been greatly improved. So the two young ladies are sucking face, but it turns out that they were being filmed, and the footage was uploaded to the worldwide net onto a video site called Cliplicious. Yeah, here's the thing with that. The site they show is Cliplicious, but then they say it's YouTube. Which is it, Scream TV series? Well, they can say YouTube, but they can't show it. They'll get sued. Look, I'm showing YouTube right now. Try to sue me. I dare you. So it's revealed that the makeout was recorded by a mean, popular girl and her boyfriend, I think. The popular girl goes to her lavish home and enjoys herself, relaxing, but then she starts getting creepy texts. It's basically what happened in the first scene of Scream 1, but with texting instead of a call. Honestly, if you were to ask me which was scarier, a text or a phone call with a threatening voice, I'll always pick the text. Texting is scary as fuck. The mean girl and her boyfriend are both killed by Ghostface. Well, it's kind of Ghostface, I guess. Ghostface looks terrible in this show. He looks like the magic mirror from Shrek yawning. It's clear that the show didn't have the budget to afford the rights to the Ghostface mask from the movies. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but the Scream mask from the movies already existed before the movies. It was made by a mask company called Funworld, who licensed the mask to Dimension Films for Scream. Originally, Dimension wasn't even going to use the real Scream mask for the movies and was instead going to make a rip-off mask, until they finally reached an agreement with Funworld. With the show, MTV obviously didn't give a shit about paying for the rights to use a mask, so instead they just combined Michael and Jason's masks, made it yawn, and called it homage. The great thing about the original mask is that the expression was so exaggerated and bizarre that you could instantly tell what emotion it was trying to convey. Fear. With the realistic face, it just looks like a guy who's yawning while mildly irritated. Moving on, we get to the meat of this show. The teen drama. Everyone in the high school is abuzz about the girls who made out, but they eventually move on to talking about the murder. The main characters are established here. There's the popular girl who's nice but has a mother with a secret. She's kind of boring. Then we're introduced to the bi-curious girl who made out with that one chick in the car. She's into filmmaking and also she looks a lot like Freddy from iCarly. Sir, you watched iCarly? Well, yeah. iCarly was a great series. It was very empowering and inspiring seeing those kids make their own web show. iCarly is what made me want to make my own internet videos. Wait, Dr. Wolfield, the only reason why we're here today making videos on the internet is because you watched a children's show on Nickelodeon that dealt with the subject? Yeah, I especially like that episode of iCarly where Fred guest starred. I wonder whatever happened to that guy. Okay, I think we can get back to the topic.
Fred just disappeared.
The next
Fred
character
do
is
like
basically
cocaine.
Jamie character from the movies. The guy's a nerd who's supposedly an expert on horror movies and serial killers. The nerdy guy's purpose on the show seems to be pointing out how dumb and cliched the writing of the show is. Like having one of your characters point out your bad writing actually excuses you for the bad writing. Yeah, at the beginning of the episode, this fucking nerd mentions that you can't turn a slasher movie into a good TV show because you have to stretch out the story and pad it. If you know that, then don't fucking do it.
At the end of the episode, the nerd explains how all the characters are tired cliches and that you have to establish them before killing them.
Yeah, the only deaths in the episode are the first two. The rest of the episode is Degrassi high school drama. If Degrassi had murders.
Dude, have you seen Degrassi? No joke. There's a lot of murder on that show. Honestly, Degrassi is a lot darker than the Scream TV series.
You watch Degrassi, Dr. Wolfula?
I watch everything on Teen Nick.
Alright. The other characters on the show are whatever. You have another mean blonde girl to replace the one that died at the start. You're supposed to hate her, so it's hard to hate her because then you'll be doing just what the writer wants you to do. Then you have all the other male characters.
Oh my god, the dudes on this show are pitiful. They were all jocks, and their dialogue always seemed to include the word bro. You can tell that Scream is a show aimed at teenage girls because it presents an idealistic world where all the boys are dumb, handsome, and subservient to their girlfriends. The boyfriend characters on this show are just pets that are in every scene and they say something inconsequential, like a bark.
The teen girl target audience becomes even more obvious when you see the only teacher in the episode. The guy looks like he could be one of the quote-unquote teen actors on the show.
Yeah, the guy is dreamy. In a not gay way.
Okay. Some teen drama stuff that nobody who's a fan of the Scream movies would probably care for. Like boyfriends cheating, or a teen girl romantically involving herself with a hunky teacher.
Yeah, chick crap.
Alright, if you want to state it so bluntly. Besides the teen troubles, the show establishes its own backstory separate from the movies, about the town's long-dead legendary killer named Brandon James.
Brandon. That's like the least scary name for a serial killer. Brandon's the name of a guy who's the manager of a convenience store in Tucson.
That's oddly specific.
Well, that might be because the only Brandon that I know happens to be manager of a convenience store in Tucson.
Interesting. Anyway, Brandon James was a grotesque young man, hidden away from the world.
Kind of like you.
I wasn't going to make that connection, but alright. Brandon was born with a disease similar to the disease that the Elephant Man had.
In fact, it's pretty much the same disease. Brandon looks like Jason from the early 80s, or that kid from Mask.
He's not a looker, which is unusual for MTV. Brandon was in love with a girl who wasn't enamored by the unique charms of his face. So she screams and some jocks beat him up, or they think he's the dance floor. They're gonna shoot him down or something. Not sure. I was looking at my phone as part of the episode. I think Brandon is a key figure, though.
Where'd you get that phone anyway?
Found it.
Looks nice. Nicer than my phone.
It's the newer Samsung Galaxy.
I have the iPhone 4.
Not even the 4S?
No, I mean, it's just a phone, though.
Yeah, but is it really just a phone?
I think you're right. I need a new phone.
You want to take my phone?
No, I don't think I can switch from Apple at this point. I got the contract. You know, this phone has all my contacts and music.
Alright, I personally like how open-ended Android is, though.
Yeah, that's nice, but I don't know. There's something about the Apple Store that compels me to buy an iPhone, like the store's white walls are telling me things.
Scream the TV series.
I love these guys. Oh, it's one person doing both of them.
Anytime a song plays in the background, a pop-up infographic will appear, telling you what the song is, who made it, and where you can get it.
It's like watching a TV show and seeing a character drink a Sprite, and then something pops up and says, Kimberly is drinking a Sprite. Buy a fucking Sprite.
Pop-ups make the show seem like a platform.
Oh, that's almost looking great. Took a little bit to absorb it
without
out.
needing to actually make shows that focus on music. Like, when MTV makes a
it's
show,
pretty
it's just a
great. Got some brown
disingenuous push
sugar.
to sell products by making superficial, by-the-numbers TV shows for its young, impressionable viewer base.
MTV just knows that the teens will watch no matter what, and the hardcore fans will either keep watching just to complain, or like it mostly because it's continuing the Scream series.
But it's not really Scream. The TV show just sort of throws in enough of the familiar elements from the movies to be able to call itself Scream, when it's not really like the movies at all, except for having the horror references and a similar killer.
They didn't even get the same voice from the movies for Ghostface. Come on, that voice was so cool, and the guy imitating it for the show sounds so lame. How hard can it be to get a decent voice actor?
It's cheaper to get an unknown voice actor, and casual viewers won't care. The producers can just say,
"We want to take the series into a new direction, so we decided not to get the original voice actor."
They have Ghostface stalk a girl at the end of the episode in full costume, but he doesn't attack her and nobody sees him. What was the point of putting him in the costume? You could have just shown a mysterious figure in the shadows or a POV shot.
They need to remind people that Ghostface is on this show because he only does something at the start of the episode and sits around for the rest. Man, this show looks like it's definitely not going to be very good.
I don't even like the Scream movies that much, and I can say that this show doesn't deserve to call itself Scream at all.
Wait, you didn't like the movies that much?
Well, they're fine, don't get me wrong. But I mostly just watched them because they were part of the zeitgeist of the mid-90s.
If you're just neutral about the movies, then why did we bother to watch the TV show? Why are we doing this podcast?
Goulash, we're doing this for the fans. God bless them. They want to know what we think about this new show.
I mean, you can't get everything you want.
We can't say no to the fans, Goulash.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we can't possibly do everything that they want us to do.
Well, I think we should make a mini podcast for every episode of this show. Are you game?
No.
Don't you want to know what happens next?
Do you?
No, but the fans want to know what we think about what happens next.
I have my pancakes back.
Fine.
Oh, man. Really good. Want some of these?
No thanks.
All right. Okay.
I love these guys.
Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfular, with a short sort of podcast. I'm joined by a guest. Say hello.
Goulash here. Are you going to call me a guest in all of these?
Yes, I'm the host, and you're the guest.
Well, I was a guest in the last podcast, too. Shouldn't I technically be like a co-host or something?
No, you can't be the co-host, Goulash. I can be a host on my own just fine. I'm not an idiot. Besides, it's not like you're going to be my guest in every one of these podcasts.
I saw the sketch.
Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfular. When I'm not storing severed heads in fridges, I'm here for Wolfular, reviewing movies. I'm in a real Friday the 13th mood following my review of the first film. You know, F-13 flicks are like Lay's potato chips. You can't eat just one. Probably because of all the subliminal messages. So let's get into the first Friday the 13th sequel. Following the success of the original Friday the 13th and a lot of other slasher films that came out in Halloween,
all those odes were amazing.
There was kind of a mad dash to get in on the first wave of slasher sequels. Friday the 13th's illegitimate father, Halloween, got in on that sweet sequel action in 1981. Friday the 13th Part 2 still beat Halloween 2 to the punch in the same year. Yes, Friday the 13th Part 2 was made in less than a year, but for twice the money, so in a roundabout way, things even out, I guess. They certainly made this poster in an hour. Before I get into the movie, though, I'd just like to say that it's pretty funny how the original Paramount Friday the 13th movies are numbered in parts. Like there was some massive storyline planned out from the very beginning that couldn't be confined to just one film. Who knows? Maybe somewhere there's an unpublished manuscript containing the entire history of Crystal Lake, its inhabitants, and how everything in each film fits together. Until the day that manuscript is discovered, though, these movies are mostly about a killer who pops up on what may or may not be a Friday the 13th to kill some random people near a lake. A story for the ages. Friday the 13th Part 2 does not begin in the most, advisable way. Alice returns in this sequel, but she's reintroduced during a nap. Alice has a nightmare within said nap, which is just a recap of the final act of the original movie. The first 5 minutes of Part 2 is spent as a clip show that plays super important details like Alice and Mrs. Voorhees' cat fight, or the policeman saying that the Jason nightmare that Alice had wasn't fucking real.
We didn't find any boy.
Yes, Alice has a
nightmare
of Jason. Jesus Christ. During this padded-out opening sequence, some details are dropped about Alice. She's off on her own, away from her family, so she can put her life back together.
I just have to put my life back together. This is the only way I know how.
Yeah, apparently getting away from her family is the only way she knows how to put her life back together, falling a run-in with a serial killer. Very specific. Besides providing that one little detail, Alice just fucking chills, man. Friday the 13th Part 2 is an innovator of slasher films in one regard. It features an early usage of the much-loved cat jump scare. Because, you know, cats are well known for jumping through windows while hissing. Long story short, Alice runs by her fridge and she finds that she's out of eggs. Also, there's a severed head.
I love
That's
that.
normal, though maybe we have different grocery standards. An unknown assailant stabs Alice in the head, which, incidentally, is a terrible way to fix a bad haircut. Alright, so Alice is dead. Movie over, right? Well, no. Theatrically released movies usually aren't 10 minutes long, so there's a bonus 70-minute movie add-on that's a little better. Let's talk about that one. The story part 2
I
is
love
next
Dr.
level
Opula.
stuff. 5 years after Crystal Lake's last failed reopening,
I'm happy I found him. He's such a good creator.
Paul Holtz has opened his own camp at Crystal Lake, where he's training some quote-unquote teen camp counselors. Paul's camp is across the lake, though, so it's completely safe. Unless you count the killer living nearby as a hazard, but keep in mind, this is a training ground for camp counselors. If being a camp counselor is the path you've chosen as a career, then you're going to be dealing with deranged murderers sooner or later. So, yeah, new camp, new killer. They really thought outside the box with this story. Part 2 pretty much established that Friday the 13th was never going to reinvent the wheel, because it's a slasher sequel, and I don't know what a slasher movie would have to do with wheels in the first place. But also, Part 2 plays it safe with story, which became the status quo for most slasher movies. It's unfortunate that Friday the 13th is a series strictly stuck to the formula, but maybe it's for the greater good. Because usually, when inexperienced writers for low-budget movies try to break the mold, you get some crazy fucking shit like Jason turning out to have a body-swapping demon snake inside his heart. Maybe formulas exist for a reason. Besides, Part 2 may not be any more original than the original, but it sure as hell is an improvement in many regards. Let's talk about one of the key improvements, the characters. At the end of the day, most of these people we're spending time with are going to wind up getting slaughtered in an entertaining way, but we should at least feel something when that happens. This was a failing of the original. What do I care if Kevin Bacon gets a new lower mouth? Part 2, though, gives us some archetypes with easily identifiable characteristics that stand out. There's Ted, the ginger comedy relief, Jeff and Sandra, the sexually active couple, Scott, the asshole, and then there's Mark, the guy in a wheelchair that you're supposed to be sad about.
Motorcycle accident. Paralyzed my legs.
Aw, there's even a cute little dog named Muffin. I repeat, the dog's name is Muffin. I couldn't really tell you the names of these characters off the top of my head, but I can at least remember the characteristics. That's gotta count for something. The only returning character that matters in Part 2 is Crazy Ralph, who's up to his old tricks again.
You didn't believe me. You're all doomed. You're all doomed.
He's full of stuff like that. Unfortunately, though, this is Crazy Ralph's final Friday. At least he went peacefully. Killing the crazy old man that nobody believed is an empty gesture, Jason. Of course, the biggest character upgrade should be obvious. Paul. No, I'm just fucking with you. It's the main character, Ginny, played by the incomparable Amy Steele.
Such a sucker for
Ginny is the camp's resident child psychologist, and she's anything but bland.
Wrong white man. Check. Mate.
She's smart and sassy and strong and other S words.
Bullshit, Paul.
Ginny was a huge departure from slasher film heroines at the time, who were usually bland clones of Laurie Strode, or Jamie Lee Curtis playing a bland clone of Laurie Strode. Ginny was an independent adult woman with a career path, and her job as a psychiatrist kind of makes her fill a Dr. Loomis-like role, especially when she diagnoses Jason Voorhees.
What if there is a Jason?
You remember Jason, right? Jason was the supposedly dead son of the murderous Mrs. Voorhees. For whatever reason, there's a suspicion made by
there
Ginny
you go,
that Jason
big yawn.
might have survived.
No, what if there is some kind of boy or beast running around Camp Crystal Lake?
I don't know what gives Ginny that
You see, Redwood isn't just a magic pill. just an extremely effective combination of vitamins and minerals in barks, 100% natural. It's a simple but precise formula based off nature's innate wisdom and ingredients certified effective by 57 modern medical research studies. It's been massively effective and life-changing for those who've used it. In short, the results of increasing blood flow were even greater than I expected. As I sped up my blood flow, the rest of my life seemed to speed up along with it. Since then, I've gotten into the best shape of my life. The increased blood flow to my muscles has provided shirt-tearing pumps, quick recovery, and increased athletic performance. Increased blood flow to my brain has increased my concentration and memory function, motivating me to build a business of my dreams from the ground up. Redwood fortified my immune system. No more seasonal colds, no more sickness. I've been able to continually grow in the gym and at work without worrying about missing a day. Click through the next page to read the thousands of reviews about Redwood and to see what Redwood can do for you.
That was pretty new.
This is your captain. Our mission to chart the stars. It's been a very weird birthday.
They're making magic.
I'm reporting this to somebody.
I'm surprised.
Let's show them what you got.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 1. Buy it on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital.
Impression, but it gives the movie an excuse to explain Jason a little more thoroughly.
He must have seen his mother get killed, and all just because she loved him. Wait, isn't that what her revenge was all about? Her sense of loss? Her rage at what she thought happened? Her love for him?
Ginny isn't alone in her suspicions, though. Paul spreads a legend of Jason supposedly living out in the woods, implying that this is a legend that is widely believed in Crystal Lake for some reason.
And if you listen to the old-timers in town, they'll tell you he's still out there. Some sort of demented creature.
There's your fourth, popping out tomorrow.
Expository
11
bullshit
o'clock.
serves one purpose: reintroducing Jason Voorhees as a killer. It's
I have to play the original one
a
again.
deformed little boy who was the motivation for all the slayings in the first place and make him some lumbering murderer. But this movie needed a killer, and Mrs. Voorhees ain't getting any liver. Jason in this flick, as an overalls-wearing sackhead, is a far cry from what he would later become, but he does have a few things going for him. Jason may be an unemployed, psychologically impaired weirdo without a family, but he still managed to carve out a good life for himself out in the woods, all things considered. Take Jason's cabin, for instance. No doubt the envy of every Unabomber. Jason even made a little toilet, complete with plumbing, I assume. Gross, but practical. Of course, the standout feature of Jason's cabin is the shrine he made for his mother's decapitated head. It really brings the room together. Every home should have one of these, if I may be so bold. The kills of Part 2 are not as great or as plentiful as Tom Savini's original slayings. Keep in mind, the MPAA...
Wait a minute, it's 61 fucking degrees
The sequel had
outside?
it a lot tougher when it came to getting away with kills. Like, take Terry, for instance. The girl runs into Jason, and then the movie
It is
cuts
61
away.
degrees outside.
Maybe it was a
It's hot as
stylistic
fuck
choice.
outside.
How could
Come
it
on,
have
bro,
the
open up that
opportunity
window,
to have
baby.
Terry
Open that
say,
window.
run headfirst into a pitchfork and get her head snapped in the process? I'm just spitballing here. Part 2 does actually
That's
abstain
good.
from killing certain
Fuck yeah.
characters. Ted, for instance, played
I like
by
when
Stu
it's outside.
Charno, famously survives just because he left camp with everyone else and never went back.
This place is closed. Right back to camp. Yes, Mom. Let me go drive the pickup. Yes, Mom.
Maybe they wanted to save him for the next film, but Friday the 13th would become notorious for not revisiting surviving characters. What happened to Ted? It's been 35 years now. We'll never know. Oh, what a shame. Just because Tom Savini isn't around, though, that doesn't mean that there aren't a few worthwhile kills in Part 2. Mark's death is one of the best in the series, but not for the kill itself, although it was pretty good. No, Mark's death is great because of the context. Oh, sweet context. Mark's obviously in a wheelchair, and he spends the whole movie sulking because he was unable to participate in the activities of his peers.
Hey, you saying?
Yeah. Nothing spoils a party faster than a drunk kid in a wheelchair.
That's crap.
Dude can't even play football, so he settles for one of those crappy video football handheld games. Guess what, though? Mark is gonna get laid by Vicky. The chick even goes to the trouble of perfuming her so-and-so for him. Ooh, boy. So, with a light at the end of the tunnel, Mark decides to wait alone at an inconspicuous location in front of the longest flight of stairs in existence. So, of course, a cleaver flies straight into the poor guy's face. Jason might not even be responsible here. Maybe it was just God. To add insult to injury, Mark's corpse, wheelchair and all, goes down the flight of stairs. He was probably alive for the whole damn thing, just so the irony wouldn't be lost on him. Another standout kill is technically borrowed from an Italian horror flick, but who watches those? While Jeff and Sandra are fucking, Jason impales them with a spear. Gives a whole new meaning to the term double penetration. I only brought this up to make that joke. I'm proud of me too. Alright, spoiler time, kids. You know, there needs to be an ending. Ginny and Paul return to camp, and they find that the place is quite dead. Literally. I think I've already made that stupid joke, but whatever. Nobody watches these videos. So one thing leads to another.
I watch these videos a lot.
To a nearby cabin. Funny story there.
This one's only got 4.5k likes. It was like 6 years ago. It's got over 200,000 views on it. Now I go by likes and views. It means that 4,000 people more or less likely viewed it. More or less, what? Over 1,000 times. I ain't gonna lie, I love watching this stuff. I love watching Dr. Wolfield. There's some good creators out there. I just love jokey, laid-back creators and that. Especially their podcast is about things that are actually pretty cool, like Hacks and Movies does like these long-ass podcasts, like hour and a half long of movies and that. They're just joking. Basically, people that every day just talk about stupid shit that you can relate to. That's why I bring up the stuff that I talk about. I just need to get better at making thumbnails. Most times my thumbnails are just shite, but you know, like whatever. I'm streaming, I'm not actually on there, so. Oh man. This character's so OP in normal mode. Yeah, right now it's on players 4. Took it off 8 because it just got a little annoying. Only 4 is a good go-to. I really want to get back on like, I barely ever watched many movies. It's got 600 comments. See the comments in this. Yeah, that's one guy said. He's like, I found this channel a few months back because like, I fucking love it. It reminds me of Monster Vision and United States Up at Night, all night movies. Yeah. Dr. Wolfield is fucking amazing, man. He talked about how he created his channel and that. He says, I just created my channel and that I had a mask on. His first one was a Christmas video on that. I mean, you gotta learn how to edit and voiceover, but most people that make YouTubes normally do know how to do that stuff and that. You can just buy like an editing thing. It like does everything for you basically. All you have to do is sit there and okay, level. Yay. Nice. I dying. If I had 2 spirits, then this character would be really good. Yeah, I think I need to get back on Cyberpunk. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow when I wake up and that. I wish I was working tomorrow. That'd be nice. I wish you gave me a 2 to 10 schedule now so I can just work my... There's only it talks about being a dishwasher and that, even though I mildly help out everybody else, just being on the clock and that. But then I'm like an overpay server, which is what most managers tend to do. But people undermine people like dishwashers and that. They always overmine cooks and that. Like, oh, cooks do such a good job. And I'm like, yeah, when they have to, they bust their fucking asses. The thing is, I don't come into... Normally, cooks don't come into cooking food. Normally, the food is already cooked, and it's only like a couple meals that I have to make. Like with me and that, sometimes I come in with like... Not say it's all the time. Unfortunately, no. What time the cooks do come in, normally they come in at the right split time moment. They come in at like 3, and then people leave at like 2. You know, they leave at 2 or 3 on my side. I don't come until 5. Or sometimes leave at 2. I don't come until 5. There's a 3-hour gap of stuff sitting back there. And like, lucky for me, one of the guys actually does do it, and I mean him talked about it multiple times. He's like, yeah, they just don't respect dishwashers. They think that they're just stupid. And I'm like, well, compared to me, I'm like God mind compared to most people. And I say that in a way of saying because I know a lot of knowledge. Because some people are just really fucking dumb. Unfortunately, they're just not researchers. I'm just vastly intelligent compared to most people. And people don't like that. People get offended by that. I'm like, then don't be dumb then. What the hell? Like, if you could afford being smarter by not buying new clothes or new guns or new bullshit or new cars and that, and you could just sit there and just be smarter than that, you would be more richer. You would have more intelligence. You would have more of everything because you're intelligent. You grasp things easier. You know, it's like working out your muscles and that, you know. Like, I can lift weights better than I can, you know, last year. I'm a lot stronger last year than I am, you know. That's how it works. But if you don't want to develop your mind, you're too stuck into this, like, whole, like, bullshit thing. It's like, the thing is, here's what it is. It's like, to deal with stress is to understand what happens, right? So if you deal with stress and just complain about it, never understand why it happens, then you keep on having more stress. Your stress keeps on happening. So like this one guy at work, you know, this one guy now, he's just got a new girlfriend. That the girlfriend has a kid, not his. Happens quite a bit in some ways or another, at least in St. Louis. I don't know about anywhere else because, you know, I live in partial city. The city's really close to me, so a lot of people work from the city. In the county right now, because, you know, city sucks, but anyway, he would say, he's like, I can't get a girlfriend unless she's divorced and has a bunch of kids anyway. And I'm just looking at him like, dude, you're so full of fucking shit. Like, the reason why you can't get girls that you actually want to get that are younger and that don't have kids and that's because you don't go for those girls. And second off, dude, you're going for girls you already know that know you for being better. So inside your mind that you're like, you wanted these girls to begin with, and now that you got all this money and that you're starting to do better, now you're chasing after them, and you're saying, I'm a better man now, look at me. And it's like, no, that woman's going to look at you all right. She's going to be like, hey, money bags, do shit for me, okay? And that dude is like, and the dude's just like sitting there and like, what the hell, are you serious? Like, where's your manhood? Where's your honor? Like, the woman didn't want to be with you before. Now she's just using you. And you know, whatever way that could possibly happen. I don't know any stories about, you know, or anything exactly what happened there. But it's just like, you know, whatever. These are just scenarios. It's like, any girl that's rejected me and then saying no, and I already told myself, if I ever got rich, I already know. My next door neighbor will break up with her boyfriend and suck on my dick. I ain't lying. She would. Instantly. If I became rich, I look good enough as it is. It ain't about the damn looks. The looks don't even matter now. I could drop 25 pounds and look spectacular fantastic. You know, cool beans. I got looks. Wow. No. But just having that money net changes everything. That person itself will sit there and do everything they can to try to get with me. And some people do that just because, you know, of attraction. So I told the guy that, you know, I'm just like, I said, you're a good-looking guy in that. You got good money in that. You work a lot in that, and you make good money in that. And, like, you get any girl that you can get a lot of girls. Why the fuck you going for girls that already have baggage or have issues, that have psychological issues and that? And she's just trying to, and we got, like, and say, like, got a conversation about that. I don't straight up, you know, the one thing that some men say in that, it really, you know, it grinds my gears, is like, I have to sacrifice. Sacrifice for what? That's not your child. What you're trying to do is you're trying to be the father of the child when you know damn well that the father's still banging the mother behind your back. She's still doing stuff. And the person was saying, like, well, he comes over and he's coming over to get booty. You're just maintaining the bullshit. You're an idiot. Like really? Oh, I was this worst case scenario type thing and that, but like even still, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, really? I would never get myself in that situation. I'd be like, nope. Any girl that I know in that, unless they're really nice in that, I actually do know them, they're very respectful in that, let's say they just deal with a really stupid guy in that, then by all means, I'll be like, I'm not the kid's father. So for me to say, you know, be like, I'm not taking care of the kid, that's up to you. I'm here with you. The kid's part of you, cool, but still not my child. And for me to say that is cruel, but it's the honest truth. That's not my child. Now, feelings can build up eventually, yes. But some guys use children to get closer to the woman to say, I'm a good father, and they don't even want you to be their father. That's the whole point. They don't. Fuck no, they don't. I know that for one girl I talked to in that, you know, saying like, oh, you know, she won't accept the guy that she's with to be the father of the child. That's not even his. He wants to, but she won't do it. Like, to a man, that hurts a man. That's why I say, well, fuck it. If you don't want to do it, then I can take care of it then. You know, I'll watch it, and if you're gone, that he's going to sit down and play video games, that bada bing, bada boom, if they're old enough to do that. Don't care. You do as you please. I'll feed it and that, and just, you know, simple shit. But like, when it comes down to anything else, that's up to you. And that's where the problems start to set in. If you don't accept me for being the father of the child, and that, even though I'm not the father of the child, and that, this is where the hard thing comes in every single damn time, and then you should give me respect. But then some people don't. And some people do. Sometimes shit happens. But these are just scenarios. All the scenarios we can think about. I think that's what you start doing is start doing just scenarios, just fake fictional crap and that. There's not any real people in that. But talk about the things that could be happening. So that's what you have to think about. So, you know, if you're a woman, think about that. You know, it's like, how much would it hurt someone if you sit there and said that to them? Say, hey, you know, you're not the father of my child. That's whole, you know, don't act like that you are. And then when the responsibility becomes behind that, it's like, okay, well, then the woman should be thinking, well, why should you take care of my child then if it's not the father of the child? Exactly the point. Shouldn't. Because it's just a waste of time. To me, it's just a waste of time. To me, I think it's a waste of time. I'm very unemotional. Like, I don't really give a fuck. And like, I don't care. If it's not, I already told people a million times, if it's not my line of blood in that baby and that or whatever it is, I shouldn't remotely even care if it's, needs to get taken care of 100% by me. You make rearrangements. And I think it comes down to, it's still scenario mode, you two. Don't be jumping down my fucking throat every 5 seconds talking about all this bullshit and that. So now you don't care what men think. But half the men that run your companies and that are all a bunch of pansies that they giving the women's bullshit all the damn time. And the thing is, it's only a very small percentage of women who do this stupid shit. I see a lot of gorgeous, cool-ass girls and that. They're like, yeah, dude, this is just a douchebag and that. So guys could do it too. But just like Andrew Tate was just talking about and that, I know people don't want to hear that, but it doesn't matter. Just like the guy that I was listening to was talking about that, we'll say it like that. The guy that I was listening to was talking about it and that, and he says, men themselves, biologically, yes, this is true, men themselves are meant to reproduce with multiple women. Why? Because that's how men work. So the more money and the more strong a man is, the more they can put themselves out there and that everybody looks at them, they're loyal to them. I don't think women would really care if that person slept with 1 million girls. Because what are you going to say? No? Because say, like, in the woman's mind, they're like, he could get better than me. So how you going to keep him? You'll do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. And that's what happens. I mean, just like say a girl went after me in that and say, she had a boyfriend that or whatever it was. And I was sitting there, man, it smells great outside. It's a little bit of a moisture smell outside. It's pretty damn good. Just my room doesn't have cold air return, so like the air in my room gets kind of muggy. That window's rather big too, so it kind of blows in all that good air. Feels great. And like, the more you think about that, we're biologically meant to reproduce, because you can't have multiple guys get, one girl pregnant, but you can have one guy get multiple girls pregnant. Just that alone is a statement that makes perfect sense. It's like what the guy was saying. That he's like, if a woman cheats on a man, that it feels a lot different than when a man cheats on a girl. And you gotta ask why. I mean, just don't cheat. But if you do cheat, at least be like honest about it. It's like, yeah, I just don't like it anymore. I just don't feel like you're compelling. But that's what it is. But that's the big thing. It's not about the sex. Sex is something that just happens just because, people like each other and that you want to reproduce. And you find someone that's similar to you, which that's how it should be. But most times it's just like, it's all about body. When I look at a girl that's really attractive looking now, I'm like, oh man, look at that, When I look at any girl in that, or for instance, you're going to think that kind of similar way. Like, oh my god, look at that, that big round butt and all that stuff, and that you're going to think about it. And the thing is, once you break that trust, your relationship is no more. So once when you cheat on each other, and most likely it's both parties that do it, your trust is no more. It disappears. Because it can't withhold any more emotion. It cuts off all the emotions, and then all you look at is a situationship, which a lot of people talk about. Situationships are always going to be out there in that, because a lot of times that's all there is. But you can complain about whatever you want. You can complain about it all damn day. But when you got more opportunities to say that, man, and that's why you go with people around your area, and that once you go online, that online kind of ruins all that shit when it comes down to dating. Like, you can be sociable with people around you, add them on your friends list and talk to people, and that cool. If you have a crush on a guy and that, add him on Facebook. If you really like him, add him on Facebook and that. And then post some stuff on that, and then see if he looks at it, see if he likes it in that. If the guy probably likes it, it's a simple way of noticing the guy's attracted to you. Then they'll be attracted to you. Then send him a message. They'd be like, hey, how you doing? Da da da. And if he's attracted to you, this is the easiest way of doing it nowadays. Back then it was a little bit harder than that. But nowadays it's the easiest way to do it. And then bam. You start to talk more than that. It's online that, so there's no harm, no foul if you stop talking to each other in that. And then bam. I mean, this girl right now trying to start a relationship with me right now. She talks to me periodically now. I don't know who she is, but she probably thought I was attractive looking and she decided to talk to me. And she's not a bad looking woman. No. But she messaged me out of nowhere, which is basically saying either she's a sub to me, and it's just easier for her just to talk to me like that, or whatever that is. Or she just saw me on Facebook and then it's like, oh. Or maybe she knew me from somewhere. I don't fucking know. Because, I mean, she looks, I don't know how familiar she looks, but who knows? And my heat is getting up high as hell right now. And my body, I'm getting really heated up. Dang, that's ridiculous. Look at my guy, he looks so goofy. Yeah, I think elites are 5 levels higher than the other guys, and the champions are 2 levels higher. That range gets up sick. Get this little 40 in that. Jesus Christ, it'd be like 30. I go past the screen. You got a dog. You got a dog downstairs. What? That's what he wants. Yes, sir, ladies. Thing move outside. Leave the bunny rabbits alone, okay? You have any longer? upstairs. Get on. Over your belly. You know that poo-poo in there. Here, pretty puppy. Yeah. You're a pretty puppy. You shouldn't be silly. Go upstairs, go get him. Go by daddy. Go by daddy, Gumpy. Go on, go upstairs. I'll see you tomorrow. Man, I watch. Yeah, my dog had some little baby rabbits in his mouth and that. I mean, he didn't kill them or anything. They're perfectly healthy, but I don't know what it was, but like, it happened yesterday. And I see the mother. Well, we put him back in the nest. I see the baby mother right now, like, run around in our yard and that. And like, I don't know what it was. I guess she was trying to bring him inside that because he felt that they were in danger or something like that. And like, most doing, and so we kept them in like a warm little blanket and that because one of them was scared to death because one was in the back jaws but had his mouth open, like had him in his mouth, so one was really slobbery and that. But like, they're baby rabbits. I mean, they were tiny. They probably had maybe like a week or two left or something like that. They being full grown enough to hop around that. What's up, Abdul? It's been a while, man. But yeah, we had to take care of the rabbits, little baby rabbits, for like one night. And we brought them back into the nest every time. There you go.
It's Jason's cabin. You can tell because of the candles. Here in the cabin where things get a little wacky. Jason's about to break through Ginny's makeshift barricade and ruin her haircut, so Ginny, I guess, uses her child psychology knowledge to thwart Jason by wearing his mother's sweater.
Jason! It's all done, Jason.
Jason actually listens to Ginny's commands because Mrs. Voorhees' sweater apparently can create magic mirage visions that can trick people into thinking you're Betsy Palmer.
Jason, Mother is talking to you.
Speaking of which, this is Palmer's last appearance in the whole series. Betsy Palmer doesn't get any more cameos despite being Friday the 13th. So Jason loses, Ginny and Paul are reunited, and Muffin, oh sweet Muffin, isn't horribly mutilated like we were led to believe. Everything is wrapped up in a neat little package. What the fuck?
This shit is hella loud. I forgot how loud it was.
Yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2 is overall a good sequel as far as the sequel's top. It improves over the original in many ways, and there's not as much boring filler. It's an entertaining little horror flick, which is all you need. I get Friday the 13th
Wait for Resident to pop.
head out of randomly exploding text.
It's 11 o'clock p.m. So an hour before midnight it releases. I just pre-ordered it today.
Everything is wrapped up in a neat little package. Greetings, I'm your host, Dr.
Oh, fuck. think I'm probably going to get off here in a little bit.
I'm here at the Wolfie Land reviewing movies. It's been about a minute since the last time I talked about a Friday the 13th movie, so I might as well talk about another one. Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. That's right, it's a 3D horror movie. And it was made in the 80s, which means most of the 3D is spent on wooden poles being raised toward the camera. Ah, holy shit! Oh, sorry, I thought he was going to hit me with that fucking thing. Where was I? Friday the 13th Part 3 is, as the title suggests, the third part in the Friday the 13th series, starring the machete-slinging, bag-wearing killer Jason Voorhees. Well, the bag-wearing part might not be...
Are you? Yeah, I was thinking about getting on there. But Resident 4 is about to pop in that tomorrow. I like that game. I can only play so much of it. I get bored of it. There's not enough things to do. Resident 4 is going to be pretty good. I've seen some. I saw like a trailer of it and that looks pretty sick.
The man-child murderer that didn't fight around the kid in the lake that continues his mother's killing spree against people in general. Not just
I mean, if you want to play through the story, I would say Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's good for playing through the story. The fighting's amazing, the animation's really good in that.
Kills anybody he meets. Jason's name is never even said in this movie.
It's actually, it's a fucking perfect game if you like Dragon Ball Z. If you like to play through the story in that like a couple times a year without watching the show in that, you can do that, and the story's just the same. And honestly, it's very good. I mean, honestly, they could still put out more stuff with it. The DLC is really good. I do like the Bark DLC when you go into it. But that's not the full Bardock story, though. Because the actual Bardock story is when he goes back in time, and he actually becomes the first Super Saiyan, or the second Super Saiyan, because the first one was I can't remember which one it was. It was someone else. And then he kills the grandsister, or not the grandsister, the grandfather of Frieza, or whatever the fuck it is. The generation of Frieza that was doing their shit back then. I remember that, because he became Super Saiyan, and he got pissed off from that, and he finally became Super Saiyan. And Bark just beats the shit out of him. Yeah, I mean, I like Bardock a lot. I wish Vegeta was still alive, like King Vegeta. Like, if King Vegeta, like, Bardock, like, joined forces and that, I'm sure they could have, like, beat Freezer. There's huge chances. They were strong as hell to begin with. If they trained in that and grown even stronger, they could have easily beat Frieza. I was just like looking at Goku and that he was obsessed with training and that. But when Goku was born, that he was already massively powerful compared to normal humans. Of course, you know, freaking Broly was like God mode. Because he started with 10,000 of power level or some bullshit like that. He was already stronger than most full-grown Saiyans.
Damn it, seriously? This Friday the 13th film has more shitting in outhouses scenes than sex scenes.
Can't carry it.
No, they don't. You unlock the first one at the Freezer Saga.
There's nudity, but only for one character, which was still the early
Yeah.
Friday the 13th movies were shy about showing the goods. Most of the time, Debbie's merchandise is out of frame, and I can only imagine this being a
I mean, if you get, that's the whole point of the story in that. Like, you want to go through the story and unlock it when you can.
you don't get to see anything. Also,
To be honest, I never use any of the Super Saiyan things besides Super Saiyan Blue or God, because it actually gives you a little bit more
Like I was saying, Part 3 centers around a group of...
Like the first Super Saiyan, it's supposed to be, I think it's 4 times the amount. Super Saiyan 2 is like 6. 3 is like 12 times your power level. And then God, I think, is like, I don't know, like 100 times your power level or something like that. Whatever your power level is at. Something like that.
Oh, passing a joint greeting. What will they think of next? How do these people know each other now? No clue. I'll tell you what I do know. Chris Higgins and her friends are headed to her family retreat in Entertainment. If you're 11, this is a map from a video game. Private play. I can take these videos out there for the youngins out there. Some of these characters do have a bit of backstory and individual plot threads. Like, for instance, Andy's movie should have been a dangerous wonder.
Relax. Be yourself. You be yourself. You look like this.
I don't understand why with the Jew throw and everything. Oh, and that run, too. With that kind of run, you'd think Shelly would be beating them off with a stick by now. So, Andy decides to set Shelly up over the weekend with Vera, and he makes a good first impression by wearing a serial killer mask.
You Shelly? Sorry.
You're killing it, bro.
But yeah, every time I talk about this stuff, I get really into Dragon Ball Z. So I grew up with that stuff. I watched on Toonami and that, like the first series, and then they're coming out with episode per episode. And like, my God, the Frieza saga was so good in that. He first transformed. Even now when I watch it, it's still the same. But I watched the abridged version of it, so it's actually really good. I love the abridged version of it from Team 4-Star. They did a really good job. Same thing with Hellsing. They did a really good job of Hellsing.
No, he also has an eyeball, I guess. I have learned. Yeah, when I see shots like a man passing by some roadkill, I can't help but draw some comparisons to classics like the...
Oh, keep it hot. It's getting in my fucking room. I'm gonna turn off that damn heater.
Part 3 just feels like a sharp decrease in quality from Part 2. We had a pretty varied cast. Part 3's
Hold on.
There. That's not to say that Part 3 doesn't have its charms. I mean, it's a fucking 3D movie that, when it saw video release, was not available in 3D for many years, so you wind up with the unintentional comedy of seeing a yo-yo awkwardly coming at you in thrilling 2D.
Ever dreamed of a brand that has clothes you're looking for in the sizes you need? With an amazing selection of great styles delivered to your home. Welcome to WomanWithin.com, your online destination for affordable plus-size clothing in sizes 12 to 44. With over 100 years of experience, we're the plus-size experts in comfort and fit. We have everything you want at the prices you'll love. Love what you wear at WomanWithin.com. PayPal works with the tools you already use, like BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and more. Get paid, save time, and simplify your workday.
Yo, awkwardly coming at you in thrilling 2D. And then there's Shelly, played by Larry Zerner, who really probably should be the main character of Part 3. The movie focuses a disproportionate amount of its runtime to Shelly, and after all, he's depicted as an outsider, an underdog. Shelly is the only really sympathetic character in this movie that we actually know much of anything about. Shelly sees himself as an actor who loves theatricality and movie makeup, who uses his skills to frighten his pals at the cabin, but it's treated as a war crime.
Asshole.
Oh, what a fun bunch. When the group actually reaches the cabin, the film still tracks Shelly's and Vera's relationship progress, and everybody else is doing boring shit, like Christopher Boyd doing really entertaining stuff. Shelly and Vera head off to a convenience store together, but different one. Apparently, it's all the way near Green Valley, New Jersey, even. Anyway, Shelly and Vera are harassed by a trio
Excuse me, but I believe that's my wallet.
Of course, the first two black characters in the Friday the 13th series are criminals. Who would expect anything different?
I'll take that.
Is this your rubber?
Shelly and Vera make it out of the convenience store just long enough for Shelly to accidentally back up their bug into the bikers' motorcycles. No, they're gonna have to dance to tequila to get out of this situation. Ollie, chain in hand, approaches the two, but the man actually seems quite reasonable about the mishap.
Damn, this is an old black trick. Really? I didn't want to call. I was gonna fuck them up. So, if you ever caught in traffic and the black guy starts saying he just want to talk to you, don't open the door. Like, if he gonna be smiling at you.
After everything they've been through, Vera warming up to Shelly over the course of the film, you'd think Shelly and Vera would finally hit it off, right? Nope.
I was thinking that maybe we could.
Shelly and Vera's relationship ends with an anticlimax instead of a climax. Okay, whatever, I guess.
Sure. We'll talk.
It's a bit of a reality check in a movie where a woman is shot in the head with a spear gun and isn't immediately knocked down from the impact. Oh yeah, Jason's in this movie. Jason spends most of the runtime hiding out inside the bar next to Higgins Haven. It's not totally clear why Jason is hanging out in the bar to begin with. Maybe if it was established that the police were actively searching for him, it makes sense, but he spends a lot of time just chilling out for no good reason. To tie people over looking for some murder, the bikers wander into the barn while siphoning fuel from the white kids, and Jason gets his kill on, but it doesn't feel like old Jay's putting much effort into killing people. Chris and Rick split up from the group and hang out in the woods for a bit, but even with this golden opportunity, Jason still just fucking chills at Higgins Haven. Jason's like a camper in Call of Duty. While Chris and Rick are away, it does give Chris an opportunity to explain why she's so on edge about returning to her family's cabin, which is also the only bit of Jason background that the movie's gonna give you.
I want you to know what happens when you understand.
Through Dana Kimball's stilted monologue, Chris says that she ran away from the cabin one night after a fight with her folks, and then takes a snooze cruise under a tree. Unsurprisingly, she's attacked by a weirdo in the woods.
It was so grotesque, it's almost inhuman.
This weirdo was Jason, who looks entirely different from part 2. No overalls, doesn't wear a bag on his head, and is missing his mangy locks of hair, looking more like the Tom Savini original. This was the first point when continuity was totally thrown out the window in the Friday the 13th series. It's implied that during Chris's encounter with Jason that he might have, raped her. I know I'm gonna get a bunch of people saying that that's not what happened, that's not Jason's thing, and it is one of the most hotly debated topics in the series.
I blacked out. I don't know what happened after that, I just don't know.
Keep in mind, part 3 was still early on in the series, and they were obviously still trying to figure out what Jason was, so it's just this weird thing in Jason's backstory that contradicts the later versions of the character we've grown familiar with. This was before Jason got his hockey mask, after all, at least until Jason met Shelly. Shelly brought along a small case containing what he called his whole world.
What have you got in there?
My whole world.
And that little thing?
Stick around. You'll see.
Apparently, his whole world consists of a wetsuit, a spear gun, and a hockey mask. But whose is it? Jason winds up borrowing the mask from Shelly, and he's been wearing a hockey mask ever since. As for the wetsuit, wasn't really Jason's style. The real reason why Jason wears a piece of hockey equipment is because the effects team needed to create a replacement for the bag for cartoon Jason stuntman Steve Dash. So during a lighting test, the effects
Sorry about that. I'm gonna do some closing shit.
Hockey mask belonging to the 3D effects supervisor Martin J. Sadoff and called it a day. Steve Miner happened to like the placeholder mask, so the crew made a larger, modified version of Sadoff's mask with more air holes and those distinctive red chevrons, and a horror star was born. In the end,
Get ready for my bedtime.
This day was just an afterthought. It changed the world, but it wasn't on purpose. Oh, speaking of Steve Dash, part 2's Jason, well, he doesn't play Jason in this thing. Part 3 started a long tradition of alternating an old Jason actors because the film shot in California in order to have access to the 3D effects experts that would help the crew figure out how to make popcorn work in the third dimension. And Steve Dash would have had to pay his own way to get to the West Coast in order to play Jason again. So fuck it. Jason is instead played by the late English stuntman Richard Brooker, and he did a bang-up job as Jason. Brooker's Jason has a sort of disinterested fucking personality to him, like he's just killing people half the time. Jason's kills in Part 3 are, of course, geared towards the 3D gimmicks and mixers. There are a lot of fun, memorable kills, but usually for the wrong reasons. The murders are much more ridiculous and over the top with sketchier looking effects, like Rick's head getting crushed and his eye clearly being pulled by a string. What the fuck's up with this movie and strings? Classic, but because it looks so dumb. Some of the stunts in Part 3 are pretty crazy, though, and I'm surprised nobody pulled a Brandon Lee in this movie. The suspenseful scenes in Part 3 also feel like they're really effort put in. Like with Chili here. Yes, that's right.
Oh, man.
Killing's happening. So she just sort of slows
Oh, it's going to be so good in my room, man. It's going to bring all that fresh air in here.
There's no intensity at all, even with the intensity.
It's like about springtime and that.
Speaking of music, Harry Manfredini returns once again to score Part 3.
Springtime and fall time, man. The beautifulest times out of the year.
Light guide my way.
Spring and fall are pretty much almost the same.
This is a change of pace with a much more intense opening than with a fucking exploding title in Part 2. And it could be an acknowledgement to the creators that Part 3 isn't going to be a totally serious horror.
Jesus Christ, that poison fucks me up.
When you add price drop protection, Expedia pays you back if your flight becomes cheaper. So when you go searching for all the best flights, you'll always know you got a good deal.
Alrighty, spoiler time. Don't want the end of this formulaic slasher sequel spoiled? Skip to the 3D time code for my final thoughts and check back later. Just like in life, eventually everybody dies. Well, not everybody, but almost everybody. Even Debbie isn't safe, even though she's briefly mentioned to be pregnant.
Would have been there already if some people didn't have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. That's what happens when you're pregnant.
Nope, while Debbie chills in a hammock reading a Fangoria mag, Jason kills her and the unborn child. Savage as fuck! It's weird to think that Jason was just ducking underneath a hammock without being seen. So, Chris is the last girl standing in this horror flick. Unfortunately. I would have taken fucking Chili over Chris. The final act is kind of a retread of stuff in the last couple of movies. Like Rick being thrown through the window out of the original.
Oh, I can't wait till that gets stretched out of the way. It's going to feel so good.
This big scene is a bit boring because there's little sense of urgency. Plus, Jason just seems a little incompetent when he actually has to take somebody. Okay, I have to admit, that was a nice shot. Jason has to show an early sign of his Chase leads to the bar. Chris manages to hang the guy, and he still survives that shit. You know, Jason may be a killer, but unmasked, he sure does look like a jolly fellow. Ollie also shows his resistance to death, only to have Jason remind him that black people never survive Friday the 13th, unless they're a kid with a cute nickname. Chris catches Jason off guard and just whacks him in the forehead with an axe, leaving Jason stunned and allowing Chris to call Tommy Jarvis. No, wait, this is a movie, not the video game. Never mind. Yeah, so Part 3 just says fuck it, and has Chris take a nap in a canoe for some reason. Just like in the original. Gotta throw in more retread. Chris sees that Jason is alive and happy to see her, but then he disappears. Only to have his mother pop out of the lake as a zombie. Doesn't really make sense. She didn't drown and all, but whatever. It's just a dream. Does Jason have like computer powers or something? He sure does appear in a lot of dreams. So Chris is alive and well, but insane, shrieking and giggling to herself like she's a Twitch streamer. And Jason, well, he's dead, I guess. I am the most crime scene over here. There's actually a long-lost alternate ending shot where Jason decapitates Chris. Oh, what could have been? I guess they decided that they should do the opposite version of the original ending 100% having still made sense. So that was Friday the 13th, Part 3. An important entry that cemented the series.
See, I don't even need for my merch.
It's a fun little slasher flick that plays it way
I'll need meditation.
It's both helpful by its 3D gimmick and focuses too much attention on 3D gags. Having to shoot for 3D seemed to have limited the shots that the group could manage, leading to some boring chase scenes and cheesy looking kills. I give Friday the 13th Part 3 a 3D snake out of a 3D eyeball. Now you can take off your 3D glasses. Oh, you weren't wearing 3D glasses this whole time? Too bad. You missed out on some cool shit.
This is all the exercise I need.
I think my neck. Finally started to stretch out a little bit for a feel a little bit of difference.
Greetings.
Oh. Holy shit, that feels good. Woo! Dun, 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 dun.
I've heard that I've been recently.
Greetings, I'm your host, Dr. Wolfield, and welcome to October, Year 3. In case you don't know,
I think I might get up this level and then I'm
where
gonna
I make videos
get ready for
on
bed.
horror movies. Okay, it's the same thing as usual, except it's during the month of October. All that makes this special is the time of year. Oh well, this year's sort of theme is remakes and reboots. So I guess I should start with reviewing Friday the 13th reboot. But before I do that, allow me to identify what makes Jason's movie franchise so great to me personally. You see, at the heart of any good Friday the 13th flick is great death scenes. The series had a lot of top-notch makeup effects in the 80s that helped turn cinematic violence into an art form. Nothing else really matters to me in a Friday the 13th flick. It's all just an excuse to see some people get killed in creative ways. That's all I want to see. And Crispin Glover dancing like he's Elaine Bennett's having a seizure. I want to see that too. Alright, so all you need to reboot Friday the 13th well is to make a movie with awesome Jason kills. There's no way Michael Bay's film company, Platinum Dunes, could screw that up. Okay, usually when I say something like that, it turns out they did screw up. Well, we're gonna watch this movie anyway. It's already in the DVD player. The film begins on June 13th, 1980. It's a Friday, I believe. Essentially, we're shown a flashback depicting what happened at the end of the original Friday the 13th, because that movie is never getting remade since it doesn't have Jason in it as a killer. Instead, the murderer is Jason's mama, Pamela. I mean, so many teenagers will be confused and disappointed that a movie called Friday the 13th doesn't have that one hockey mask dude in it. So instead, they gotta condense the first movie to a couple of minutes. It's pretty cut and dry. Pamela has killed a bunch of teenage camp counselors out of some misguided revenge for the drowning of her son, Jason.
It'll be easier for you than it was with Jason.
After explaining all this bullshit to the audience, Pamela is beheaded immediately. Jason isn't dead, though. I guess he was just taking a leak out in the woods. Honestly, none of the Friday the 13th movies explain where Jason is when his mom was out killing people, or why everybody thought he was drowned to death when they didn't have a body to back that up with. Okay, I'm gonna try to stop questioning the logic of this movie series, because once I start, it will be impossible to stop. Anywho, it's present day now, but let's just say 2009 to be safe. Crystal Lake is doing its job of attracting large groups of teenagers for some reason. I mean, Crystal Lake must have a top-notch tourism bureau or something. Let's not get too attached to this group of young adults, though. They're just the first group out of two groups of teenagers that appear in this movie.
I'm getting off. I'll see you guys tomorrow on that. We'll be doing some Resident Evil 5 with my friend Vincent. And we're going to hit that off. We might beat it. We'll see what happens.
They're totally...
And yeah, we'll go from there. That was a good neck stretch, by the way. I felt pretty damn good. Oh, I want to go to bed. You guys have a good one on that. Don't forget to subscribe and like and all the above. Keep stuff going on that. If you want to subscribe to Dr. Wolfia, if you like horror-themed stuff and that, he's very good. I think he's really funny in that. Go right ahead. I like listening to other YouTubers and that. I just kind of figured that it's going to promote more of other YouTubers and that, because I really like that stuff. Because to me, it's very important to promote other people as promote me. So that'd be awesome. Anyway, see you guys there. You guys have a good one. Bye.